coming later this afternoon. Now I'll break that down in just a few minutes for you, but first let's get some more news over with Stephen at the news desk.
All right, thank you, Aaron. Later on today, you may want to stop by the Clientele Art Studio here in Wheeling. Logos made by local residents will be on display from 4 to 8. The winner of the contest will receive a $500 gift card and be recognized by City Council. Plus, their artwork will become the new face of the city's Water Pollution Control Division. Get this, a mouse was on the loose at a local high school this morning, and he caused quite a stir. Hundreds of kids were even seen laughing at his jokes. 7 News anchor Stephanie Grinley joins us live in the newsroom after catching the production all on camera at John Marshall High School. Stephanie, we're being told this mouse has a name?
Oh, Stephen and the viewers who have not caught on yet, yes. Stuart Little came to the stage for the debut of the Monarch Company's fall theatrical performance.
Well then, let's begin the adventures of Stuart Little!
Washington Lands and Sherrard Elementary cheered as they got to see the first performance this morning. The show is adapted from the beloved children's book by E.B. White. This cast of 26 students and crew of 14 tells me they've been practicing since the start of the school year, and they think they have this one, and it will be cheesing everyone. I caught up with Stuart himself right before the curtains opened.
It's just having fun in general with like all my cast members and everything. Just all of it it's so fun.
I think the best part about this performance is how animated and like zany it is, because it's very fun to like tap into your childishness, because it's very like stress relieving, and it's nice to do that.
While this production was for the kids, come Saturday and Sunday, the Monarch Company is inviting the public to attend. You can catch Stuart Little at the John Marshall High School Center for Performing Arts at 2 p.m. this weekend. Tickets are $5 for the kids and $8 for adults. And if you don't like rodents, I still think you'll like this mouse. Live in the 7 Newsroom, I'm Stephanie Grinley, working for you.
All right, Steph, thank you. Looking in New Martinsville now, it's a special day for the Lighthouse Child Advocacy Center. They're holding an open house at their new location on the corner of 2nd and Monroe. Come take a look anytime from now until 6. The Wetzel-Tyler Chamber of Commerce is also dropping by right now for a ribbon cutting. Trick-or-treaters are invited out again tonight for a spooktacular event happening at the Highland Sports Complex. Kids will get to enjoy the arcade, some cash games, and bags of candy. It's only $7 to get in. The Halloween event kicks off at 5. Hey, don't forget to wear your best costume. There's going to be a contest for the cutest, funniest, and most scariest. Hey, don't go anywhere, because coming up, when is rain expected to return? Aaron has those answers in his full forecast. That's coming up right after this break.
Free drive.
The best in live and local talk returns momentarily on The Watchdog.
Whether you look forward to working on your outdoor space or for what comes after, battery power made by Steel has the outdoor tools to get you there. From the reliable power of our chainsaws and mowers to the quiet performance of our blowers and trimmers, enjoy more of the sounds of fall with the AK Homeowner series of battery tools starting at $199.99. Real Steel. Find yours at SteelDealers.com. All prices MSRP. Available participating dealers while supplies last. Maybe you love the smell of freshly cut grass. Maybe you love the aroma of steaks on the grill. Steel has the outdoor power equipment to get you there. From the dependable performance of our leaf blowers to the legendary power of our chainsaws. Find your perfect backyard with outdoor power tools starting at just $139.99. Real Steel. Find yours at over 10,000 local dealers and at SteelDealers.com. All prices MSRP. Available participating dealers while supplies last.
West Virginia Northern Community College will host its fall open house, both in person and virtually, on Saturday, November 6th, from 9 a.m. to noon. Both formats allow you to learn about programs, admissions, financial aid, and more. If you attend in person in New Martinsville, Wheeling, or Weirton, you can also tour the campus. Everyone participating in Northern's open house could win a $1,000 scholarship. For more information, visit wvncc.edu.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm the storm tracker, Darnell Foster.
With a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Mostly cloudy skies, a few showers and rumbles of thunder, a daytime high near 64. 48 degrees for the overnight low with showers on and off. You'll see the chance for showers for your Friday with cooler temperatures for daytime highs in the mid to upper 50s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
People moving out, people moving in. Why? Because of the color of their skin. Run, 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 but you sure can't hide. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Vote for me and I'll set you free. Rap on, brother, rap on. Well, the only person talking about love, now, brother, is the preacher. And it seems nobody's interested in learning but the teacher. Segregation, determination, demonstration, integration, aggravation, humiliation, obligation to my nation. Yeah. That's what the world is today. The sale of pills are at an all-time high. Young folks walking around with their heads in the sky. Cities aflame in the summertime. No, the beat goes on. Evolution, revolution, gun control the sound of soul. Shooting rockets to the moon, kids growing up too soon. Politicians say more taxes will solve everything. And the band played on.
Well, we don't have a band here, but we have a great duel, okay? Maybe one of the best 1-2 punches in the Ohio Valley. I'm Bill DeFabio, across the way, the lovely one, Lola Miller. We're happy to be with you on a Thursday, October 21st. It's been a while since Lola saved my butt, but she did today in a great way. I was cleaning out my car, all right? The other day I got 4 or 5 bags of cat litter. Well, last night, one of them broke in the back seat. And I had papers and stuff. You know, a lot of times I'll just throw stuff in the back seat. So I'm cleaning out my car today. Well, a lot of my prep work, some of it got lost, like the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. They only publish on Thursday and Sunday. Thursday, there's a lot of information. And when I checked out the paper earlier this morning, before I got the paper physically, there was a great story about the ABA, the American Basketball Association, and also the possibility of Pitt and Penn State meeting on New Year's Day in the Peach Bowl. Wow, that would be a classic. Now, Pitt doesn't travel very well. But, you know, driving to Atlanta, it'd be okay, but you're going to play Penn State, same with Penn State. So I wanted that story, and I wanted a little bit more information on the ABA. But I lost that paper. Lola comes into the station. She found my paper in a parking lot. Thank you, Lola. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right?
I just don't like litterers.
Okay. Can I have my donuts back?
No, they're gone.
I stopped at Joe's Bakery Shop. He's open from like 5 to whatever, but usually about 7 or 8 he runs out of donuts. So I got there a little bit earlier, and I got some donuts. Ask Lola, ask Biff. They're the biggest donuts maybe in the world, okay, compared to maybe corporate donut places. How's that? And, you know, I have to take care of Lola, and she took care of me. So, yeah, we take care of each other. Why? Because we have to, you know, especially when we're the only ones here when Biff leaves. Today's Thursday. Is he golfing today? Do you know, Lola?
No, they opted to go yesterday when the weather was beautiful because it's supposed to rain later on today, so they golfed yesterday.
Okay, all right. Okay, we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to go over my list for tomorrow. I overbooked again, but I've learned something. I don't need to have coaches on 20, 25 minutes. 5, 7, 8 minutes each, I can squeeze them all in. It's a who's who coming up tomorrow. And it's a who's who today. 12:35, Butch, who could be with us tomorrow, is going to be with us at 12:35. 1:05, I'm going to really stick it to Greg Brown because every time they showed Mike Lang on TV, guess who's sitting next to him? Two of my favorite people, Steve Blass and Greg Brown. We'll talk to Greg about, do we need robots behind the plate, especially for playoff games? 1:35. First, he's golfing, couldn't be on the show. Then he texted me this morning, I'll be off the greens at about 1:15, so I scheduled Jay Caulfield, Mario Lemieux's bouncer at one time and a great color analyst, will be joining us at 1:35. Justin Malarkey from 2 to 3, okay? And we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have the sports sounds from managers, coaches, and players who know the game. We'll be right back. We are the Watchdog.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. When you join Brad Leonard and me weekday mornings from 7:10 for the Watchdog Morning Show, we'll have all the top stories of the day. We'll go behind the scenes with some informative guests giving you some interesting information. And, of course, some off-the-wall, off-the-beaten-path kind of issues and stories that you may not hear in the top headlines. Plus, your news, your sports, your weather. Zach Petty, Bill DeFabio, Tony Caridi. We're just your morning breakfast club, getting together and chewing the fat. Hope you'll join us weekday, 7 to 10. The Watchdog Morning Show.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
New Belgium Fat Tire Amber Ale is now available in West Virginia and distributed locally by wine and beverage merchants. With its toasty and biscuit-like malt flavors blended perfectly with hoppy freshness, it's bound to become one of your new favorite craft beers. Fat Tire Amber Ale is now available at local retailers. Please don't drink and drive and drink responsibly. From your friends at Wine and Beverage Merchants.
College football is back, baby. The Watchdog brings your favorite teams right to your speakers. Let's go, Mountaineers! On WKKX 98.1 FM and AM 1600. If hanging with Sloopy is more your style, WVLY 97.7 FM and 1370 AM is home to the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Watchdog is your home for the best in college football in the Ohio Valley.
It's a wonder I can think at all. And my lack of education hasn't hurt me none. I can read the writing on the wall. Kodachrome give us the nice bright colors, give us the greens and summers, makes you think all the world's a sunny day. Oh yeah, I got a Nikon camera, I love to take a photograph, so mama don't take.
Speaking of cameras and photographs, the other day, I don't want to mention Target, but I was there doing some shopping because they had a sale. I do all, I clip coupons and everything. I'm the only one in the family that will save 30 cents or whatever. Better in my pocket than the grocery store. So I went over to look at cameras because I had heard that there's a new Polaroid camera out. So I saw it, and I have a lot of Polaroid cameras, even from the 50s where you had to pull it out, wait a second or 60 seconds, and the upgraded one, the land camera. And now they have a new version that's half as big as the one that I had in the 80s, and it's about $130. So I'm looking at film, because you have to buy film for these new Polaroids. 16 pictures or whatever, all right, $39 for the box. Wow. Then I was pricing Nikon cameras. What's the big one, Lola? Canon. They're like, the cheapest ones are like $400. But who takes pictures anymore? Now they got cell phones. There's one commercial I think I watched earlier this morning during the ESPN because I wanted to watch clips of the Braves and Dodgers. You know, they have these new, I don't know if it's, is it 13, Lola?
I think
Yeah.
it's 13.
And, you know, you can make a movie out of it.
Yeah, you can.
Crystal clear.
Yep.
Wow.
We got my niece one of those little Polaroids last year for her birthday.
Okay. Good pictures?
Kids taking them. How good can they be?
Yeah. By the way, if anyone's interested, we can make a deal. I have in its box, the original box, with 4 flash cubes, instructions, okay? X15 Instamatic camera. I don't think it was ever touched because I had it wrapped in plastic or something. And I do have Polaroid cameras from the 50s and 60s, which were expensive at that time. And I have a Brownie movie camera because in the late 60s, I would take movies of everything. Squirrels climbing up trees, my uncle burning garbage in the backyard. My uncle, I had to throw snowballs at my aunt. I got that too in front of our gas station. I could have been Cecil B. DeFabio, couldn't I, Lola?
I know, Bill.
I could have parted the Ohio River.
You go try today.
I might drown.
Wait, if you think you can do it, go try it.
No. But I was always interested in photography and that. And, yeah, when I went to Italy, I don't know what camera I used. I think it was a Nikon. It was about $200. I took so many pictures. And, you know, back in the 50s and 60s, for those of you that are quite old, probably, because if you're listening to this show, you've been around, you used to have to take the film somewhere or send it away and get it back, you know? You know, now today, I don't even know if places take film. I don't know. You have to bring it. I don't know. But that's my camera story. Okay. Always was into radio, too. And since I was a little kid, I always listened to the radio, watched TV, because I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I was lucky enough and met a lot of people, opened doors for me. So this is called the Sports Sounds from the managers, coaches, and players who play and coach the game. I think it's unique because you're going to hear from people that participated in a game that we're familiar with, whether it's the Cleveland Browns, because we've had Baker Mayfield with a comment. By the way, he's not playing tonight. It's Casey Keenum, all right? So let's start. And I got to find my score sheet because Lola has one too. Thursday night football tonight, Cleveland Browns hosting the Denver Broncos. Both of them right now have a ton of injuries. Bad news for Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield. He's got that shoulder injury. He will not play tonight. His replacement, he's been a backup everywhere, maybe even this radio station down the road. Casey Keenum, he's ready to start against a Denver Bronco defense led by Von Miller.
You know, I'm excited. What better chance to, take advantage of an opportunity than on Thursday Night Football? I know these opportunities don't come around very often to be a starting quarterback in this league, only 32, per week. I'm ready to take advantage of it.
Browns fans, you won't like these numbers, all right? Case is starting tonight. He is the 31st starting quarterback since 1999. Can you believe that? 31st starting QB since 1999. The future of Baker Mayfield, I just got a feeling he's going to need a surgery, which is not good news. Plus, he's lost a couple offensive linemen, some defensive backs. The Browns right now are hurting, okay? After tonight, they have a few days off. Then they host the Steelers. American League Championship Series, not a good night for my Red Flops. Now they're Red Flops because they've lost 2 in a row at home. Houston beat Boston, beat them up 9-1. Houston pitching staff, their starter went, 8 innings? Only gave up 3 hits to the Red Sox, who are hitting the daylights out of the ball early in this series. Let's hear from Houston Astro manager Dusty Baker.
Winning 2 out of 3, that's kind of the mantra of this team, win series. And so now we're playing, for a split, and hopefully the split comes in the game 6.
It's a travel day for the Red Sox and the Astros. Tomorrow night, the Red Sox, they will face elimination. They got to win tomorrow in game 6 to force a game 7. Hey, that's okay, according to Boston Red Sox manager Alex Cora.
We got to win 2 games to go to the World Series. That's the bottom line. So
Obviously, reset tomorrow. Be ready for the next day.
Yep. They lose tomorrow. Houston will play the winner of L.A. and Houston. No, L.A. and Atlanta. Right now, I got to bet Lola's salary on Atlanta because you know what they did last night? They lead the best of 7 over the Dodgers, 3-1. This is L.A. skipper Dave Roberts.
And it's going to be a bullpen game. I feel very confident. And now it's, on the other side is how we're going to attack Fried, who's throwing the baseball well, and he's their ace.
The Braves win, they go to the World Series. The Dodgers win, we're talking about, what, a Game 7? 3 games to win? Yeah. No, Game 6. All right. But, hey, I don't mind. The Red Sox have, they've certainly been very interesting, especially in the first week when they lost 3 in a row to the worst team in baseball, the Baltimore Orioles. And, I was telling everybody, wait till next year. And then they had that big slump after the All-Star game. They had, what, an 8-9 game lead over Toronto and the New York Yankees, and they blew that. They barely made it in the playoffs. They went up against Garrett Cole in that one-and-out game, the elimination game, and they beat the crap out of him. They beat Tampa. Then they really started to hit the baseball when they hit 20,000 home runs, it seemed. And in the last 2 games against Houston, Houston figured it out. Let's use the bullpen, short bullpen, hope one of the starters can get going. The Red Sox have not been very good in the last 2 games. Maybe they just need a change of venue. Win 2 in a row in Houston may be tough, but all you got to do is win Game 6 tomorrow. And what do they say, Lola? You never know in a Game 7.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah. You have a rooting interest in who you'd like to see in the World Series? No?
No, not at all.
Okay. Will you watch the World Series?
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
I don't. That's a week away.
Yeah.
I can't plan that far in advance.
Remember when the World Series ended in the middle of October?
Yeah, those were the days.
And the games were in the afternoon, Yeah. All right. Fond memories of that, too. I was in Boston, and, everybody was anti-National League, so nobody was rooting for my Pirates to beat the Orioles. And I had the last say because the first night game played in the World Series was at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. So, that was cool. Night baseball. Wow. Yeah, didn't see that coming. And now, they do play during the day, 4 o'clock games, whatever. So, and back then you only had one dome stadium. That was the Astrodome. And I still think I have the cover of Sports Illustrated back in '68 with Rusty Staub on the cover, looking up at the ceiling of the Astrodome. And underneath his name, the 8th wonder of the world. And now it's like Lola's indoor stadium in Pontiac. It's a white elephant. Did they tear down that building or somebody bought it for real cheap?
You know what? You ask me that all the time. I really don't know. I don't know if it's still standing or not.
I think the Astrodome is still standing. But they got a beautiful ballpark right next door, A guy's in a train. When somebody hits a home run, he goes back and forth in a railroad. What is it, Milwaukee? A guy slides down the slide when the Brewers hit a home run?
I think.
Sponsored by Miller Lite. Of course there's a sponsor. But, baseball has changed. And I got a lot of interesting questions for Greg Brown concerning umpiring. That game the other night, that was a strike, 3. And, everybody's walking to the dugout. And next thing you know, no strike 3, no strikeout. Because if there was a strikeout, all right, the Astros wouldn't have come up with 7 runs. We'd be talking about going to the bottom of the 9th or whatever. And they showed all kinds of replays. I don't know. Lola, before I ask Greg, should we have replay on every one?
No, my God, no. No.
No?
By the way, the Silver Dome was demolished.
Was it?
Yeah.
Did you get any souvenir seats or anything?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even know it was gone.
Till just now?
I'm sure I heard of it.
Yeah,
but,
okay. That was in the middle of nowhere. How far is Pontiac from Detroit? 30 miles?
Yeah, a little bit more than that.
Yeah. But they used to have concerts there because you used to attend concerts, right?
Yeah.
You didn't sit in the cheap seats, did you? Because you're way up there. If I can remember the Silver Dome.
Yeah, no, I didn't sit in the cheap
Okay. All right. I think I went to 3 Steeler games there and a Super Bowl. What Super Bowl was that, Bill? Now I'm talking to myself. Oh, Cincinnati and San Francisco. Cincinnati could have won. They were on the 3-yard line, 1st and 10 or 1st and goal, and they couldn't chuck it in. Joe Montana, though, Western Pennsylvania guy, led the way for the 49ers. Okay, We're going to take a break, and when we come back, since we couldn't schedule Butch for tomorrow, we're going to talk movies and that with him coming up in a couple of minutes. We are the Watchdog, and we have a lot in store for you today and a whole lot of guests tomorrow. Why? Because we like you, and we want you to be really informed because we're the Watchdog, the voice of the Ohio Valley.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Carrie Hudasek. Nurses at Cabell Huntington Hospital say they could soon head to the picket lines. Members of the SEIU union are sending a 10-day strike notice to the hospital. The vote came Wednesday. The union says the notice means nurses could go on strike if there's no new contract by the end of the current contract, which is set to expire November 2nd. Governor Jim Justice says broadband needs major work across the state.
Where we are today is a mess, unbelievable. That's all there is to it. Just a flat mess. Any way you cut it, a mess.
During a roundtable discussion Wednesday, the governor joined State Economic Development Secretary Mitch Carmichael and others to discuss how they'll use $1 billion in state and federal funds to provide internet access to some 200,000 homes and businesses. Some West Virginia school districts are struggling to serve lunches amid an ongoing supply chain issue nationwide.
It's kind of almost like a roulette game where you order things and then you're kind of surprised at what comes in when the truck arrives. So that's where we're having some stockpiles of certain types of things.
Jackson County Schools Superintendent Blaine Hess says they've had to rework breakfast and lunch options for students depending on what deliveries they get. Marshall's Board of Governors meets later today to discuss personnel matters. The presidential candidates will be discussed, however, no vote will be taken. That isn't supposed to happen until the board's next meeting on October 28th. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. An FBI agent testifying in Martinsburg federal court Wednesday says authorities found a trash bag of shredded documents, thousands of dollars in cash, latex gloves, and a go bag when they searched the home of a Maryland couple accused of trying to sell nuclear secrets to a foreign government. Jonathan and Diana Toby were arrested this month on espionage charges in Jefferson County, West Virginia. They pleaded not guilty and have been jailed since their arrests. Read more at WVMetroNews.com. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Carrie Hudasek.
Hey, I'm going to the kitchen. Can I grab you a Coors Light?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Huh. I never knew there was a zip line in my fridge. Hey! Hey, buddy! Yeah! You got 2 Coors Lights up there?
Always brewed down to 34 degrees. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go, 2 Coors Lights.
Awesome, man. Wow, these are really cold.
That's the only way I deliver it.
Sure, I mean, you being a mountain climber and all.
Yep.
You probably need a pretty warm coat in there, huh?
Yep.
Hey, Ben!
Yeah!
Ask him if he has any nachos.
You got any nachos in there?
No.
Just icy cold Coors Light?
Yep.
That makes sense. It is the Rockies.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Whether you look forward to working on your outdoor space or for what comes after, Battery Power made by Steel has the outdoor tools to get you there. From the reliable power of our chainsaws and mowers to the quiet performance of our blowers and trimmers, enjoy more of the sounds of fall with the AK Homeowner series of battery tools starting at $199.99. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. All prices MSRP. Available at participating dealers while supplies last. Maybe you love the smell of freshly cut grass. Maybe you love the aroma of steaks on the grill. Steel has the outdoor power equipment to get you there. From the dependable performance of our leaf blowers to the legendary power of our chainsaws. Find your perfect backyard with outdoor power tools starting at just $139.99. Real Steel. Find yours at over 10,000 local dealers and at steeldealers.com. All prices MSRP. Available at participating dealers while supplies last.
With the weather changing, it's good to know Toyota has a wide range of all-wheel drive vehicles, like a stylish Camry, right now with up to $1,250 total cash allowance. Or go with an Avalon with up to $3,000 total cash allowance. Visit buyatoyota.com today and find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. Offers may vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end November 1st. Toyota. Let's go places.
This is Hoppy Kercheval. Join me weekdays at 10 o'clock right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe for Talkline. I have guests, conversations, texts, phone calls on all the big stories affecting us in West Virginia. So tune in weekdays right here on FM 98.1 and FM 97.7, The Watchdog.
It's official. The Astrodome, built in 1965, replaced by a brand new stadium not too long ago, is still standing. All right? And if you're from Michigan and you're wondering about whatever happened to the Silverdome, it's not still standing. Okay? All right. Let's go right to the phone lines. I'm glad I was able to trade days with Butch because I didn't want to have him on tomorrow for only a few minutes, because he's worth more than 8 or 9 minutes. Right, Butch?
No. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It takes you 8 or 9 minutes to mention all your buddies and what they're doing.
That's true, yeah.
You want to start with your good friends?
I could do that, sure, yeah.
Go ahead, Butch.
Yeah, if you're looking for some music in the Ohio Valley tonight, you might try the Sarah Hayes Band. They're playing the bike night over at Chaps, which is in Belmont, Ohio, and they get underway at 6:30 p.m. So Sarah Hayes tonight for sharing the music on a Thursday night. Coming up on the weekend, my very good friends, the Muddle, are playing a couple of places close by. They're playing at the Route 88 barbecue. That's right there in Ogilvy Park on Route 88, just as you might guess. If you know where the ski lifts are and the parkery, then you'll find them. Good time, really good band. 7 o'clock tomorrow night at Route 88 barbecue. The music is free, by the way. But you'll want to get a beer at least, or maybe enjoy a nice barbecue dinner while you're there. And it's outside, so it's a great time. Saturday, the Bridge Tavern and Grill, a venue I've not talked about a great deal here, but I see that they've got an artist playing on Saturday at 7 o'clock. Somebody named Ashley Best. I think they tend to do kind of traditional folk, Americana, country, quasi-country stuff, something like that. That's my impression, at least, anyway. Anyway, nice venue, the Bridge Tavern and Grill, right there on Main Street at 10th Street in downtown Wheeling. And once again, to wrap up, the Muddle, my very good friends, the Muddle, are playing at Black Sheep Winery on Saturday. Shows out there start at 7:30. It's a good idea to get there early because they usually draw a pretty good crowd, and that too is a very, very fun venue. So those are the sort of local things that I know about that are going on as far as live entertainment, live music, and live entertainment this weekend.
Let's not forget what's happening next Friday night at Three Rivers Stadium. At River City. If Three River Stadium was still standing, something's wrong with history. It's costume night, a Halloween party. And that's always a big gig.
Yes. And now I'm sure there are Halloween costume parties at a lot of local venues. but River Cities is one of the big ones, and they have perhaps the biggest one of all. So, you want to get there, and usually they do it on Friday night. So, Halloween is actually Sunday of next week. Yeah. So there should be stuff going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, invest in your costume and get out there. I don't know what costume.
Wait a minute. I screwed up. That's next Friday. Did I say this Friday?
I
can't remember. That was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's next Friday night because the following night is doo-wop. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The end of October is really very interesting as far as entertainment's concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when you dressed up as a woman, and I didn't know it was you. I was ready to ask you out.
Yeah, that's right. I was Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. Jason still talks about that. You did a nice job on yourself. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
You fooled me.
Yeah, it's all about the illusion.
Oh yeah.
Big costumes this year. People are getting one of the biggest ones is the red uniforms from Squid Games. Pretty big this year. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Another one that's been very popular this year is just going out as a Karen, basically just being an angry middle-aged white woman. They call Karen. So that's a little tougher to pull off. But anyway. Yeah, those are some of the costumes. If you were going to go in costume, what would you do this year, Bill? Bill?
Yeah.
Bill, would you have
Well,
a
I'm
costume?
cheap. I don't want to buy a costume.
Oh, okay.
I may go as a nudist. How's that? I can't do that because I would scare away all the people. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind like a zombie with a bullet hole in my head.
Mm.
I'll let Lola put the bullet hole in my head because she's looking forward to it. I don't know, but everybody's dressed up as zombies. I got to do something unique, but I don't know. But I'll be there. Are you coming? Or you have a gig?
I'm usually busy. I don't know. I think Friday. Yeah, I've got something to do. I'm not going to be able to make it this year. But another year, another time, I'll fool you with my costume.
Okay. No, you won't. No, you won't. They still talk about it 5 years later,
Yeah.
That's Jason's fault, but I work with him, so I can't rip him. But that's going to be a great. Folks, get there early. They'll have tons of shots, all these different kind of shots I never knew existed. They come in a little cup. What do they call those, Lola? Jello shot. Yeah, Jello shots, trays and trays. They disappear real quick. Food, get there real early. And because you don't want to stand in line, and
what are the prizes, Bill?
The first prize I think is Daytona. I'm not sure, but there's 12 prizes. I think next Monday or Tuesday, Jason will be here in costume. Okay. He said, and he's going to dress up as a restaurant owner.
Yeah.
But they're great prizes. All 12 are great. For gift certificates, cash. It's great. And, it lasts a long time. I think they're going to have the money balloon, they drop it and bust it. Watch people go nuts. People go nuts over dollar bills.
Oh, yeah. They just want a prize,
Oh, yeah, it's a prize, yeah. But, everybody, and there's a lot of people go there to try to outdo each other, see, oh, wow, look at that. That's cool. Hey, look next door there. Oh, wow, it's a great night, A lot of people do it, but you know what? When you get about 400 or 500 people in a restaurant or whatever, having a good time. There'll be a disc jockey there, It'll be fun time. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you didn't ask me.
But
did I see the Bond movie?
Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
And what did you think?
1 to 10, a 9. I really liked it.
I really did too.
I thought it was a little bit long, but I didn't notice that until, it's over 2 hours already.
Yeah. It goes quickly, and you generally speaking, you just all you know is you had a good time while you were watching it. You don't really remember much about it. At least I don't. But yeah, it was good. I saw The Last Duel this week. Really well worth seeing that movie. It's a historical drama about the very last time there was a legally sanctioned duel to the death in France, and I think it's set in 1380, something like that. But it's historically accurate, and it stars Matt Damon and Adam Driver, and it's a very good film. So I would highly recommend going to see it. A good action film, and a lot of suspense too. So good stuff. And here's what's interesting about it. The focus is. It starts out with this duel, but of course, what leads up to the duel is really what's interesting. And there's a man and a woman who are married, and this man's best friend is accused of raping his wife. And in those days, it was the crime was not against the woman; it was against the man and the man's property. His wife, So that's kind of, yeah. So what you get is you get the same story told from three different perspectives. First, the husband. Second, the man who is accused of the rape. And third, the woman's perspective. And it's told very much with a feminist perspective. But it's very interesting. It's a good film. I would recommend it. Coming out this week in the land of movies is Dune, kind of a long-awaited reboot or something of Dune. This version stars Timothy Chalamet. So we're going to have to see. I know the last version of Dune came out in the 80s.
I didn't like it at all. It
was terrible.
Yeah.
It was.
What was that? A giant groundhog or something swallowing people with a big teeth?
I think it was. Yeah.
A big mole or something.
Supposed to be a worm.
Sandworm.
Sandworm. Yeah.
It was a big one. All right. Whatever.
Yeah. So
from everything I've read, this one is much better. So I'll wait and see. I'll find out.
Yeah. It should be. It can't be worse anyway. And it will be opening, I think, on Thursday at local cinemas. Okay. Of course, there are the Halloween films that always come out around this time too, and the one right now is called Halloween Kills. Not been getting great reviews.
No, it's about a town that's going to kill the guy in the mask.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she's been in every one of them.
I think that she's in the first one, and I think she did come back for the second one. I'd recommend going to see either the Bond movie or maybe
Last Duel.
Or Last Duel. Yeah, would be very good. I also saw the Many Saints of Newark, which actually is playing in the theaters, but you can also stream it if you've got HBO Max. This is the prequel to the Sopranos television series.
What's the name of it?
It's called The Many Saints of Newark.
New Jersey, tough town.
Of Newark, yeah.
Wait, this is HBO? I don't have that. You have HBO, Lola?
I certainly do.
Okay.
HBO Max. You need.
Yeah.
You have to pay extra
Max.
for that?
No, I can't. Well, I get HBO, so.
Okay.
All right. Did you like it? Because last time you and I spoke, neither one of us had watched it. So what did you think about it?
I did enjoy it. It didn't absolutely blow me away, but there were some very cool things, like to see some of those characters much younger. Notably, of course, Tony Soprano as a boy, and then as an adolescent. But to see like the character Big Pussy, and it's narrated from the perspective of the character Chris, who was Tony's nephew. So in general, I did enjoy it. I thought it was pretty good and interesting. There are a few Easter eggs for people who are real Sopranos fans. You're going to notice some things that they plant, including some things that harken back to the final episode of The Sopranos. So it's worth watching, especially if you're a big Sopranos fan.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. Yeah, I'm a big Sopranos fan. You can still watch all those shows again, right?
Right. Yeah. If you've got HBO Max or
No, the old shows. The old shows.
Right. The Sopranos. Yeah, they were on HBO Max. or on HBO and HBO Max now.
Okay, I'll have to check.
Yeah.
I don't know what I have. You know, there's so many. There's like 50,000 ESPNs. CBS now has done whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. You know, I just remember growing up with about 4 or 5 stations, and I was happy. But now today, with all these programming and all the programming that's going on, I just wonder, when are they going to run out of sponsorships? You know, everything has to be sponsored. Maybe people just owe sponsors money or something. I don't know. But, you know, watching the game last night with the Red Sox, I think it was the bottom of the 6th inning. I know there was a pitching change for Boston or whatever. 8 commercials in a row. You know?
Wow.
Come on, Butch, do something about that, will you?
Yeah. I don't know what I can do.
You ready?
Okay.
Those were the days, my friend.
All right.
I already asked you, teased you, in case you had to look it up. Lola, today is Bottle of Rum Day. What's that supposed to mean? I bet you know.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho. Horatio, right? Nelson? The general?
Is this like a pirate game?
No. Horatio, fought the Battle of, Lola, help me out. Trafalgar? I was close. Was fought on this date in 1805. Admiral Horatio Nelson led the English fleet to victory over Napoleon's combined French and Spanish armies. The win ended any threat to England by Napoleon. Unfortunately, the admiral was hit by an enemy musket ball and died as the enemy surrendered. But his crew preserved his body in rum. How about that? Now we know where that other refrain came from. Oh, it's rum, rum, rum that makes you feel so numb. It's silly, but it happened on this date in 1805. Wait, we ought to preserve Lola's body in Bud Light. What do you think? Butch, come on.
It already is.
All right. I got HBO Max. I got to check that out. Maybe call my cable guy. Okay. 1960. I remember this. My aunt even said Richard Nixon looks like a bum compared to John Kennedy. The fourth and last debate preceding the presidential election between Senator John F. Kennedy and U.S. Vice President Richard M. Nixon was televised from New York City. Kennedy got a lot of votes. I mean, he looked great. He spoke very well. I don't know who did all the writing for Richard Nixon, but he should have been fired. And
Many people who heard it on the radio thought Nixon won the debate because they couldn't see him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I know, all the ladies out there like John F. K. Good-looking guy. You know, he had that charisma about him. But, I watched it, and I was a Nixon guy back then. He was the first guy I voted for. Yeah. Then something called Watergate came up. On this date in 1972, all of my friends in my hallway played this over and over and over again. Chuck Berry's My Ding-a-Ling.
Yeah.
Hit number 1 in the United States. It was number 1 for 3 weeks. My ding. Did you like that song, Butch? Or did you think it was stupid?
I thought it was kind of dumb, but but it was. It brought people back to listening to Chuck Berry, which was great.
Yeah. Did you like Curtis Mayfield?
Oh yeah, I love Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah, on this date in 1972, Superfly, the movie soundtrack album, started a 4-week run at number 1. I think I have that album somewhere. I played the hell out of it. The title song cracked a top 10 singles list in January of 1973. Other tracks on the album: Little Child Running, Pusher Man, Freddie's Dead, that was a big-time hit, Give Me Your Love, and You Should Know Better. How about that?
Yeah.
Curtis Mayfield, Superfly. Yeah. Elton John. In 1997, his tribute to Princess Diana, Candle in the Wind. It was declared by Guinness Book of Records to be the biggest-selling single record of all time. In 37 days, the 45 reached 31.8 million copies sold. You know whose record it broke?
Michael Jackson?
Bing Crosby's White Christmas.
Oh, okay.
White Christmas sold an estimated 30 million copies worldwide in 55 years. Elton John's Candle in the Wind, 37 days, 31.8 million copies. Whoa. Here we go. This is for you and Lola. I like the guy with the lips, the trumpet. Born on this date, passed away in 1993. Dizzy, John Birch Gillespie. Played the trumpet. 1975, he performed live at the Royal Festival Hall, and I guess they sold that record live at the Royal Festival Hall. It was what, a combination of what? Bebop, jazz? Lola, what was it? Jazz?
Yeah.
He was kind of a bebopper, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Kind of a modern.
I just remember, puff cheeks and a bent trumpet. I think the trumpet was bent. And I said, boy, how can you do that? Great performer. I liked him. And he always used to be on the Ed Sullivan Show. Everybody was on the Ed Sullivan Show, but you, Butch.
I know. I was a little young.
Yeah. Did you like Alvin Bishop?
Yeah, I liked him okay. I mean, it was kind of laid back, the 70s stuff.
Yeah.
But it
What
was
group
all right.
was he with? It was a blues band.
I don't know. I don't know that one, Bill. Did you
Paul
stump me on
Butterfield
that?
Blues Band.
Oh, was he? More respect for Elvin then.
Yeah. Then the Elvis Bishop group, solo, fooled around and fell in love. I think he's been in Wheeling a couple times.
I think he might have been. And he wasn't bad. I mean, I wasn't, blown away by Fool Around and Fell in Love. But he's still around.
Yeah.
He's still kicking.
Now, a lot of American groups try to have the long hair and look like the Beatles. I remember the Buckinghams out of Chicago. There was a group out of L.A. called the Bo Bremmels. They did a great song called Laugh, Laugh.
Mm-hmm. I remember it.
Yeah, the lead singer and writer is celebrating a birthday today, Ron Elliott. Yeah, Just a Little. That was a hit, but not like Laugh, Laugh. And the Candlestick Maker. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember
He's
that.
probably about 80 years old now.
Well, yeah, I would say so. Let's see. That's baseball. You don't want that. That's football. You don't want that. Why do I have Carrie Fisher's? Oh, today's her birthday.
Oh.
She passed away, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
2016. Yeah. And, the daughter of singer Eddie Fisher. And what actress?
Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah. All right. Of course, she made a few bucks in the Star Wars series. She was also in, I can't remember her, and I've watched it over and over again. She was in the Blues Brothers. Yeah. And When Harry Met Sally. I remember that.
Yeah. She was the best friend in When Harry Met Sally.
And Shampoo. What other star was in that? Warren Beatty, right?
Warren Beatty.
Yeah, okay.
Breakout.
All right, Carrie Fisher. All right, you ready for the oldies?
I am. Let's do it.
Well,
shock me with the 70s.
Guess what?
I
ripped out that page.
Oh, you don't have it.
To write on the back of it.
Oh.
Hold it. I might have to make up something. We can do that in radio. Oh, here we go. I got it. Ray Charles, 1961. Hit the Road, Jack.
Great song.
Great song. Great performer.
Yeah.
Number 2, Dion. He was up at Capitol about 5 years ago. Run Around Sue. You like
good song. Yeah, I like that song too.
Wasn't he the one that wrote a song about Abraham, Kennedy,
yes.
Martin
Yeah,
Luther
Abraham,
King?
Martin, and John, right.
Yeah, that was a good tune. Sad tune. And, Run Around Sue was number 2 in 61. Let's go up to 1969. Number 2 was Hot Fun in the Summertime by the Stone, Sly and Family Stone. Number 1 by the Temptations, I Can't Get Next to You. You ready for 77 as we close out the show and I make you puke?
Yeah, let's do it.
Debbie Boone, number 1 for 3 weeks. You Light Up My Life.
Terrible.
Awful.
Horrible song. Yeah.
And they played that all the time.
Okay, and that's going to be an earworm for all of our listeners now.
Yeah.
They're going to hear that for the rest
You lit
of
up
the
my
day.
life this morning when you said it's okay, Bill, to have me a day early, okay?
Yep, happy to do it. Talk
Thank
to
you, Butch.
sometime next week.
And you do a nice
Okay.
job on Wednesdays, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All
See
right.
ya.
You light up. Oh, I hated that song. I didn't like Pat Boone either. Now he's selling showers or something? I don't know. We'll be right back with the voice of the Pirates to talk about the postseason that does not include the Pirates, Greg Brown.
Watchdog is FM 98.1 W251CY, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7 W249DU, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Millions of Americans who received the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson initial COVID shots could soon find out if they're eligible for a booster. The CDC reviewing that data and could vote to authorize the 2 extra doses this week. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky also says the final guidelines will discuss mixing and matching boosters.
It is your conversations that we will explore the nuances of this guidance and then communicate it to the public.
As more companies move to require vaccines for their workers, pushback continues. Southwest and American airline pilots now being told to avoid vaccine mandate talk because it can be a distraction from their duties.
In a letter to Southwest and American Airlines pilots obtained by ABC News, their union is warning them not to get distracted by vaccine mandate talk in the cockpit. The union saying there has been an uptick in self-reports of distracted pilots to the FAA. The union telling its pilots they are not in the cockpit to debate the merits of the vaccine mandate, that they must be operating the aircraft to the highest levels of safety. The union saying recent reports have shown distractions have entered the cockpit, impeded performance, and have become contributing factors to error chains. Alex Stone, ABC News.
In Washington, D.C., this hour is celebration marking a decade since the Martin Luther King Memorial was dedicated. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Biden delivered remarks. The president says once again the U.S. is at an inflection point.
They stand here in perpetuity, in timely and timeless conversation that inspires us and challenges us, reminds us how far we've come, where we need to go, and how much longer the journey is.
The United Nations says it's setting up a trust fund for the people of Afghanistan, working to provide urgently needed cash for families to survive this winter and remain in their homes. You're listening to ABC News.
Hundreds of thousands of people have said goodbye to their overpriced Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile plans and switched to Pure Talk. It's Jill Schlesinger. Did you know Pure Talk gives you the same great coverage on the same great 5G network as one of the big guys for about half the cost? The average family is saving over $800 a year. You can keep your number and keep your phone, or get huge discounts on the latest iPhones and Androids. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. Or if you want unlimited data, you can still save a fortune. With US-based customer service, Pure Talk treats their customers right. Plus, they have a 30-day risk-free guarantee, so you literally have nothing to lose. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, say Jill50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless.
Retailers are urging holiday shoppers to get out there now amid the current global supply issues. Carrie Goldbaugh owns a toy store in Louisiana.
ASAP. We're pretty well stocked right now, but if we start selling out of things, we can try to reorder still. But as we get closer to Christmas, we might have some more trouble.
Meantime, online shoppers are learning many of the items they're looking for are also out of stock. The number of out-of-stock products has jumped 172% since before the pandemic. Criminal charges following the massive explosion that rocked a Dallas apartment complex last month.
After 40 years as a firefighter, Ronald Hall had filed paperwork to retire when he was sent to investigate a natural gas leak. Minutes later,
I thought I was 80-90% burned. Probably had 2 days to 3 days to live.
now police say a man named Philip Dankins is responsible for the blast, having fired a shot into an apartment, severing a gas line to a stove the night before the disaster. Jim McDade of the Dallas Firefighters Association.
Almost killed a lot of people, and the whole situation just angers all of us.
Dankins is held on 7 counts of deadly conduct. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
A big merger said to be in the works. Digital payment company PayPal in talks to buy Pinterest, the online sharing and e-commerce company. That deal said to be worth about $45 billion with a B dollars. This is ABC News.
Exam 4 needs to be sanitized.
Mersana's MRI clinic isn't operating at max efficiency. She needs a new certified tech, certifiably now.
Someone's waiting in room 2 for an ACL scan. Can you handle that?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
This is ONN. On the Ohio News Network, I'm Daniel Barnett. A man has been arrested in southeast Ohio in connection with a double murder from 1995. ONN's Dave James reports.
Today, the offices of the Ohio Attorney General and Washington County Sheriff announced the indictment and arrest of 49-year-old Scott Hickman of Waterford, 15 miles northwest of Marietta. He was indicted by a Washington County grand jury Tuesday for the deaths 26 years ago of 28-year-old Kimberly Fulton and her 17-month-old son Daniel. They were found dead inside their home, which investigators say was set on fire to cover up the murders. The case was reopened in 2019, leading to the arrest of Hickman, who faces aggravated murder charges. Dave James, ONN News.
And the global supply shortage is resulting in more business for the Port of Cleveland. Lydia Esparra with affiliate station WKYC-TV in Cleveland explains.
David Gutile with the Port of Cleveland says, with other ports struggling with supply and demand, it's taken businesses out of the area to finally realize we are no mistake on the lake.
Our volumes are starting to increase because the supply chain crisis is going on around the world. Cargo owners are looking at smaller ports to move their goods through. We've been preaching for a long time that smaller ports many times are more efficient, just as cost effective as larger ports.
Reporting in Cleveland, Lydia Esparra.
And I'm Daniel Barnett on the Ohio News Network.
Thank you for riding with the Watchdog. Live and local, just the way you like it.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and we can close within days at 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. I buy properties as is. Make no repairs. Take what you want and leave the rest behind. We make selling easy. I buy vacant properties, pre-foreclosures, and inherited homes. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorces, death in the family, back taxes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
West Virginia Northern Community College will host its fall open house, both in person and virtually, on Saturday, November 6th, from 9 a.m. to noon. Both formats allow you to learn about programs, admissions, financial aid, and more. If you attend in person in New Martinsville, Wheeling, or Weirton, you can also tour the campus. Everyone participating in Northern's open house could win a $1,000 scholarship. For more information, visit wvncc.edu.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Mostly cloudy skies, a few showers and rumbles of thunder, a daytime high near 64. 48 degrees for the overnight low with showers on and off. You'll see the chance for showers for your Friday with cooler temperatures for daytime highs in the mid to upper 50s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the outer limits.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, the Watchdog.
And we're back. Behind this microphone, I'm Bill DeFabio. Across the way, in control, our executive producer, teammate, lady. She's a character lady. How about that? I'm paying you a compliment, Lola.
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah. And on the phone, speaking of character guys, let's say hello to Greg Brown. Hey, Greg, how are you?
Well, good afternoon, Bill and Lola. How are you?
Yeah, we don't complain. You know, when you get up there in age, every day's a good day.
That's a great call.
You like
That's
that?
a great call. I like that a lot. It's so true. Every day is a great day.
Yeah. You know, I told this on, what was it, Tuesday? No, I haven't been, yesterday. One of the great views in TV was seeing two character guys sitting together at a hockey game. They were Steve Blass, Greg Brown, and the great one, Mike Lang. How great was that, sitting with Mike, watching all the festivities that took place?
Well, it was great. I mean, he certainly deserves it. He's been a longtime friend. I said I consider him my Yoda, not more than a mentor. He's been my kind of a life coach. I adore the man, idolize him, hero worship him, whatever you want to say. I do. I love him. And he asked that we be there in Mary Lemieux's suite to be there with him that night. And it was great. And it was so cool to see them honor him as they did. Penguins were first class with him. Everything they did was spot on. Yeah. And when it was really wild. I don't know how much you saw of it, but when they they recognized him at the 14-minute mark, I think, of the first period.
Yep.
And the PA announcer mentioned it was Mike Lang night. Here he is, and they did a video of him, and the camera showed him, and he stood there. He was like the Pope.
Yeah.
He stood up there, and the place went crazy. And then, there was long ovation, and the players were back on the ice. They were ready to drop the puck again. And he did this this hand motion where he took his hands from up top and brought it way down. And the crowd in unison went from being very loud to a low hush. He just completely quieted the crowd. I thought that was amazing. He saw they're ready to drop the puck and resume the play, so he brought the crowd down but then he brought his arms back up and they screamed again.
Yeah.
And then he brought it back down. It was remarkable. He owned the crowd. He's owned the crowd for a lot of years.
Yeah. But it was great to see three character guys all sitting together having a good time. And, Mike Lang, he was the Bob Prince of hockey, in my opinion. We had two great icons there with two different teams all in one area, the Pirates and the Penguins.
Well, yeah, he's, in fact, Mario Lemieux and David Morehouse brought gifts to Mike during the second period. We were in the back talking it up in the back of the suite and watching it on a monitor, the game. And they came in, Evgeny Malkin came in and brought him a milkshake because one of his calls is make me a milkshake, Malkin. Yeah. That's one of his calls. So Gino brought in a milkshake for him. But anyway, so Mario and David Morehouse brought in a gift, a basket and a gift bag. And as Mario was talking to Michael, David Morehouse was kind of standing back, waiting his turn to thank Mike for his years of service and so on. And so I was standing there talking to David Morehouse, and he said, you think about Pittsburgh, what a small town it is, Western Pennsylvania, the region, and how many great announcers have come from that area, and how many big cities would, clamor for the number of great announcers we've had in Pittsburgh. It was really an interesting topic, and to your point, you named three who were, kind of the Mount Rushmore guys, Cope, Prince, and Lang. But you could go just talk baseball with Rosie Rosewell before Prince, then Prince, and then Lanny, and Steve Blass, and then you go football with Cope. You do Hillgrove. You got the hockey with Mike. And as I said on a talk show yesterday, I was on a talk show yesterday talking about Mike's night. That's just talking about the major the teams, the big the big sports, the three major sports, football, hockey, and baseball. How about the off the radar guys like Ray Goss, who did play-by-play basketball for Duquesne forever. Chris Shovlin does play-by-play. I mean, it just goes on and on.
How about this name? West Virginia fans may like this. The Fabio's talking about the Mountaineers. Jack Fleming.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Yeah,
Of
I
course.
forgot that. He would do West Virginia games. He would do Steeler games. Then when he had time, he would work television, broadcasting the Chicago Bulls. There's an.
Well, I mean that he preceded Hillgrove.
Yeah.
And as often as we talk to Bill about how in the world do you do this? How do you juggle 3 teams essentially, Pitt basketball, Pitt football, and then the Steelers? Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, how about Jack Fleming?
Yeah.
What he did forever.
Yeah. Every time I go to North Carolina to see one of my brother-in-laws that I like, I have to go across the Jack Fleming Bridge.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
I'd like to step out and take a picture of it, but I don't think I'd be here very long because there's a lot of trucks that go right by me. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
probably not a good idea.
No, not a good idea.
No.
I want to go over on this date before I ask you about Dusty Baker and what happened with the Dodgers and the Pirates, I think in '78. That was a nice brouhaha. On this date in 1970, the Pirates' Danny Murtaugh edges Cincinnati's Sparky Anderson in voting to win the National League Manager of the Year.
Well, that's interesting. I did not know it was that close. I didn't realize I knew Murtaugh won it. I didn't realize the voting was that close. But I mean, talk about 2 great, iconic managers right there. Yeah. Anderson of the Reds, Murtaugh of the Pirates. There are a lot of people, and I understand it, who want Murtaugh in the Hall of Fame, and I get it, and because he won 2 World Series. I know. I'm iffy because I've always felt like anybody that is in the Hall of Fame, you shouldn't have to go back and look up the numbers and all that, and you just kind of know who a Hall of Famer is. Well, I was a youngster when Murtaugh was managing, so maybe it's not fair to me to even judge, but. For my money, in my generation, Jim Leland deserves it as much as anybody.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I've made a few mistakes in my career. This was one of the first ones in Boston. I had, and one of my teammates from WCSB, we had auxiliary press way out by the center field area at Fenway Park to Game 6 of the World Series. We didn't go.
What?
We went to see the Moody Blues.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
Are you kidding me?
So after the Moody Blues, we went to Bobby Orr's bar, which was right outside of Boston Garden.
Oh,
we're watching the highlights, and we're seeing Carlton Fisk, number 27, waving the ball to stay fair, and it was one hell of a game. 12 innings.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
Well, I've got a confession to make then.
Okay.
Last weekend, I went to Game 3 of the ALDS at Fenway between the Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays, the one that went 13 innings.
Okay.
And left after 11 innings.
Oh. Why did you leave?
Well, I was with my son, who's in school up there, and a long day, and we had to take the T. And I said, if we leave now, we could beat it, because if we wait till the end of this game, we're going to get crushed.
Yes, you would. Yeah.
We'll wait forever to get on that tee. So we decided to go ahead. We watched it on the phone while we were on the subway.
Yeah.
But that was quite an experience, obviously.
I was sick as a dog. I went out and got high. I mean, I went out and had a few drinks. Let's put it that way.
Oh boy.
Can you imagine, though? What are these people? You look up at the screen. I mean, they didn't have 14,000 screens like they do today. There was
Sure.
Like
you didn't have cell phones to watch the game.
No. Yeah. And then since then, I've seen the Moody Blues 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I
Game
hear
6
you.
is one of the all-time great ones.
Yep.
Pete Rose said it was the most fun he ever had losing a game.
Jeez.
All right, let's talk about the Red Sox. Evaldi the other night, he had a strikeout, but it was called a ball. If it was a strikeout and they showed 15,000 angles of it, it was over the plate. But the ump, they're human, called it a ball. Next thing you know, I think Houston scored 7 runs. Do we need replay? I might agree with Lola. We can't have replay for every play. But do we need a robot back there? What's your thoughts?
Well, I'll say again, I've said it a lot of times to many, many people. I'll say it again, that when they introduced replay, when you introduced instant replay because you wanted to get calls right.
Yep.
Once you did that, The first thing you should have done with replay, the very first thing, is use robot umpires for home plate. The first thing, the most important thing, if you're going to go replay, is balls and strikes, because they're missed all the time. It's very arbitrary. So it was so backward to start with, like, home runs, foul balls, and then doing this thing where you spend 5 minutes. Did the guy overslide second base? Did he get his hand on second, trying to steal second base? Way more calls are missed when the bases are loaded. It counts 3-1, and there's ball 4. Nope, strike. They would have forced in a run. But there's no replay, so we continue, and then the guy hits a double, and the gap scores 3 runs. It is so convoluted, Bill.
Yep, I agree.
It is so absurd. So people ask me, should we have robot umpires to call balls and strikes? I say, of course, and they get angry with me. Why? I said, because if you have replay at all, well, you better have it for balls and strikes. Now, ask me if I want replay. No, it should never have been introduced into sports. But once you did it, you go down that path and you open Pandora's box, then guess what? This is what you're going to do. And to Lola's point, go ahead. Put it in for balls and strikes. You're still not going to get every call perfect. It's so absurd. It's not just baseball. It's sports and society that we have to be perfect, and we're not. And sports, and in baseball in particular, is an imperfect game played by imperfect people. And it's why you play 162 games, to take out all that imperfection, because the best teams come out in the wash, regardless of these calls. So it's so ludicrous. But yeah, should we have robot umpires calling balls and strikes? You're darn right.
I circled the name Dusty Baker under your name for a question. Do you remember, I know it was Three River Stadium, because Charlie Feeney and I rushed down because the players were gathering. The next thing you know, they're between their lockers and everything. Dusty Baker, Reggie Smith. I thought they were going to get physical. First of all, I wasn't allowed to go down there, but, if you follow Charlie Feeney, you can do anything you want. And, fisticuffs, I thought, was a few seconds away. Then all of a sudden, I think it was Reggie Smith or Steve Garvey said, uh-oh, here comes Cobra. Because Cobra probably would have cleaned house. Do you remember that?
Well, I don't remember that one. I know we've talked about this, the Pascual Perez fight, but I think that was in the early 80s.
Yeah.
When he was with the Braves.
I remember him.
But yeah, I don't necessarily remember the Dodgers fight, but Cobra, you're right. He would have cleaned house, but don't discount Dusty Baker.
No.
I mean, that guy could, or Steve Garvey for that matter.
Yeah, but Garvey was a nice guy.
Popeye.
Yeah, Garvey was a nice guy, though.
Well, nice guy, but you push a nice guy too far. I quoted an old Irish proverb. I say this to my wife all the time: "Beware the fury of a patient man." What? It's an old Irish proverb, because I've got a lot of patience. But I say, beware the fury of a patient man.
Lola just nodded her head yes. Yeah.
Once you blow your top, you've held it in. You're patient, and then there's one thing that's put you over the edge, boy. Wow.
Yeah. I don't want to see Lola blow her top.
No.
I'll talk to her on the phone and get nasty with her. Then she'd come to my house probably.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to be careful.
Yeah. But Dusty's been around, man. I'm thinking, if my red flops, now I'm off the bandwagon, if my red flops don't make it, Houston's okay. I like some of their players. They seem to have fun. Do you want to see them play the Dodgers because of Tim Neverett, or do you want to see them play Atlanta?
Well, I don't want the Dodgers in it. I want the Dodgers out of it, because I want to prove to everybody that last year was a non-factor, that they really didn't win a true World Series. They didn't win a championship. 2020 was an aberration. I called it the asterisk season. 60 games does not a baseball season make. So I said that all throughout this past season. I said, no disrespect to Tampa Bay or the Dodgers, because they went to the so-called World Series, but they didn't win a true championship. Championships are won in 162 games. I keep going back to it because it's very important that people remember and understand what separates baseball from every other sport, and what makes it the greatest sport on earth is 162 games. That's an incredible marathon. It's not 16 or 17, and football's, a great sport, and you rock 'em, sock 'em robots, you knock each other around, but it's only 17 games. Hockey season, basketball, it's half the year of a baseball season. So the Dodgers, in my opinion, did not win a true world championship last year. And so I don't, and because of that, I don't want them winning this year. I want to show everyone that was an all-time asterisk season. So I'm for the Braves this year.
Okay. All right. Well, last year, Tampa Bay, their first Stanley Cup, that was a shortened season. So they're not a true champion?
Well, I'm not talking about hockey because I don't know enough about that. I can't speak to that sport. I mean, I'm a fan, but I do know baseball, and I do know what makes a champion in baseball, and that's going through a grind of a 162-game season. For me, as a fan of hockey, again, just a fan of hockey, what makes a hockey season is almost the playoff season. It's almost like the season in the NHL is a preseason. So many teams go to the playoffs, and it's so long. So many teams get in, and then it becomes a long grind. Who can survive the NHL playoffs? So I would say that you kind of flip a coin, and then whoever gets into the NHL playoffs who can survive that is a true champion. And it's the reverse of baseball. Baseball's champion, for me, is the one that wins the season, and the playoffs are a crapshoot, whereas it's kind of the opposite in hockey.
Oh, before I forget, we have about 4 minutes left. Where's your son go to school in Boston?
Well, he goes to law school.
Okay. What school?
He's going to Harvard.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's going to Harvard.
Excuse me.
He's a smart kid. He didn't get it from his father.
I was going to say the mom had probably something to do with it. Yeah.
No doubt.
I hope he got a scholarship because you got to work 5 years to pay 1 year at Harvard or MIT.
It's funny, he got scholarships to some other law schools, like full rides and stipends.
Yeah.
But he decided he wanted to try to go to the best law school he got into, and that was Harvard. So,
it would be pretty hard for me to sue you because you'd get your son after me, right?
Well, in a couple more years when he's out of there, I will do that. I'll sick him on anybody. But Bill, I'll tell you something about this kid. When he was 10 years old. I took him to Washington D.C. with us on a road trip, and we're walking around. I've got a long history. My family has been involved in politics, going back to my grandfather, who was a congressman for a lot of years. And he kind of was getting the bug a little bit, and we walked up to the gates of the White House, and I looked. The sun was setting. It was an off day, and I said, "How cool is that? Look at that, the White House, where the president lives." And I said, "Isn't that awesome?" He goes, "Why is that so cool, Dad?" I said, "Well, you don't think that's great?" He said, "That's going to be my house in 40 years."
Whoa.
And he's kept that, and now I kind of laughed it off, and he's been saying that over the years, and now, the more he goes along here, the more I'm wondering, does this kid, he is something.
Yeah.
He's something else.
Yeah. If he's
I might
running
be his campaign manager in a few years.
Hey, if he's running for president, if you give me a couple of bucks, I'll vote for him.
No, won't do that. Won't pay anybody off to vote for anybody.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
He'll win on his own merit.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I know. I knew that was coming. I knew there was going to be something in it for you. You wouldn't come out and say, "Oh, I'd vote for him if he was a good kid and I like his policies." No. If you give me a couple bucks, I'll vote for him.
Hey, I don't make much on Social Security.
I
got to work 15,000 jobs. You got one.
Yeah.
You got one.
Yeah, I can see Lola shaking her head and rolling her eyes right now.
You are Greg Brown. You know me better than
Yep.
anybody else.
Well, and Lola, I know him, and so do the listeners, and they're all doing the same thing.
Yep. Okay. That's okay. I'm like Joe Frazier. I can take a few punches.
Yes, you can. You're as good. You can give them out. You're like Ali, giving them out, but you can also take them.
Yeah, I'm getting like Ali used to be. I can't remember things.
You're doing the what did he used to call that? His rope-a-dope. You're like doing the rope-a-dope.
No, forget the rope. I'm the dope.
That's good.
Hey, I'm glad I learned a little bit about your son. I never knew that. Did he ever take you to Harvard Stadium? It's like one of the oldest football stadiums in the world.
No, he just started school, a month ago, so not there yet. but maybe down the road. I'm just, heck, I just visited Boston last weekend. It was great time.
Isn't Fenway nice? Cozy?
Nice, cozy, yes.
Okay.
My knees were driven into the seat in front of me for 11 innings, and that's another reason why I wanted to get out of there, because comfort is not the first thing you think of when you think of Fenway.
Yeah, I know.
It's not comfortable.
You know where the Sitco sign is? My dorm was right below it.
And by the way, Bill, one other thing, they cut the concessions off, and I'm not talking booze. I'm talking popcorn, peanuts in the 7th inning.
What? Oh. Did you pay for the ticket, or did you pull Tony La Russa? Do you know who I am?
No, I paid.
I know.
First, I pay. I always pay.
Yeah, okay.
But, Fenway's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to stay there.
No.
Give me PNC Park.
You know, my last year at BU, room and board and everything, education, $3,200. It's now like $58,000. I don't want to ask what 1 year at Harvard is. Give me an
Good.
idea.
I'm glad you won't. Don't ask.
Okay, all right.
Do yourself a favor. Don't ask.
Okay. Hey, if you need a loan, 20%.
Yeah.
20% interest.
Oh, there we go again. As one-time President Ronald Reagan said, there you go again.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. How about Ronald? Okay. Always a pleasure to have fun with you, Greg.
Good talking to you, Bill.
All right. We'll talk to you real soon.
All right. See ya.
All right. That's pretty good. He has a dream of being president someday? Hey, you never know. You just never know. Greg Brown, one of the really, really good guys. We go back, 40, whatever. You don't want me to say 40 years, but it's been about 40 years. All right, we'll come back, and we're going to talk to another character guy. If you were Mario Lemieux and you were on the ice and one of the bad guys from the Flyers or whatever would hit me, guess who would come on the ice to kick your butt? Jay Caulfield. He still looks mean, but he does a great job as a color analyst for the Pittsburgh Penguins TV network. He's coming up next on The Variety Show.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Carrie Hudasek. Nurses at Cabell Huntington Hospital say they could soon head to the picket lines. Members of the SEIU union are sending a 10-day strike notice to the hospital. The vote came Wednesday. The union says the notice means nurses could go on strike if there's no new contract by the end of the current contract, which is set to expire November 2nd. Governor Jim Justice says broadband needs major work across the state.
Where we are today is a mess, unbelievable. That's all there is to it. Just a flat mess. Any way you cut it, a mess.
During a roundtable discussion Wednesday, the governor joined State Economic Development Secretary Mitch Carmichael and others to discuss how they'll use $1 billion in state and federal funds to provide internet access to some 200,000 homes and businesses. Some West Virginia school districts are struggling to serve lunches amid an ongoing supply chain issue nationwide.
It's kind of almost like a roulette game where you order things and then you're kind of surprised at what comes in when the truck arrives. So that's where we're having some stockpiles of certain types of things.
Jackson County Schools Superintendent Blaine Hess says they've had to rework breakfast and lunch options for students depending on what deliveries they get. Marshall's Board of Governors meets later today to discuss personnel matters. The presidential candidates will be discussed, however, no vote will be taken. That isn't supposed to happen until the board's next meeting on October 28th. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. An FBI agent testifying in Martinsburg Federal Court Wednesday says authorities found a trash bag of shredded documents, thousands of dollars in cash, latex gloves, and a go bag when they searched the home of a Maryland couple accused of trying to sell nuclear secrets to a foreign government. Jonathan and Diana Toby were arrested this month on espionage charges in Jefferson County, West Virginia. They pleaded not guilty and have been jailed since their arrests. Read more at WVMetroNews.com. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Carrie Hudasek.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. The Sun Belt and Conference USA are both exploring expansion possibilities as the American Athletic Conference is expected to announce the addition of 6 teams today. Sunbelt is targeting Southern Miss, Marshall, and Old Dominion from Conference USA, along with James Madison from the FCS. Conference USA believes it can add James Madison and Liberty, which could keep Marshall and ODU in the league. Baseball playoffs yesterday, the Houston Astros pounded the Red Sox 9-1. Houston takes a 3-2 series lead in that series. Game 6 is tomorrow night in Houston. The Atlanta Braves are a win away from the World Series. The Braves beat the Dodgers yesterday 9-2. Game 5 is today. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by the Score on the Watchdog.
Hi, break time?
I know you.
I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. It seems like you take care of yourself.
I do. I play tennis. I try to eat well.
What about screening for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. Colon cancer is more treatable when it's caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and is used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit requestcologuard.com.
I'm on it.
Excellent.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Are you traveling? Working a little bit too much? Is your fur baby starting to get a little shaggy? Let Dirty Paws be your one-stop shop for all of your pet care needs. Stop in and see us at 202 18th Street or give us a call at 304-639-7754 to schedule your appointments for dog grooming, doggy daycare, and dog boarding today.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Community Bank presents Rock, Roll, and Doo-Wop Volume 19, Saturday, October 30th at Wheeling's Capitol Theater. Featuring Bobby Rydell, Terry Johnson's Flamingos, The Marvelettes, The Reflections, and PBS TV star Chris Ruggiero. Tickets are on sale now by calling 304-233-7000 or online at CapitolTheaterWheeling.com. Don't miss Chris Ruggiero, The Reflections, The Marvelettes, The Flamingos, and the one and only Bobby Rydell. Saturday, October 30th, 7 p.m. at the legendary Capitol Theater in Wheeling. Presented by Community Bank and produced by Spotlight Productions.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. When you join Brad Leonard and me weekday mornings from 7 to 10 for the Watchdog Morning Show, we'll have all the top stories of the day. We'll go behind the scenes with some informative guests giving you some interesting information. And, of course, some off-the-wall, off-the-beaten-path kind of issues and stories that you may not hear in the top headlines. Plus, your news, your sports, your weather, Zach Petty, Bill DeFabio, Tony Caridi. We're just your morning breakfast club, getting together and chewing the fat. Hope you'll join us weekday, 7 to 10, the Watchdog Morning Show right here.
Always a pleasure to have this guy on here because he likes to golf. Show me a hockey player who doesn't golf, and I don't know what I'll do. But he's not. He just got off the greens. He found time for Billy DeFabio. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he should be working at ESPN and all those networks that's promoting the National Hockey League for ratings. Jay Caulfield. How about that intro, Jay?
Hey. Very nice, Bill. Well, thank you very much. But how are you, Bill?
I can't
How you
complain.
doing?
I'm going to be 70 in about a week and a half. Nobody cares about me. Well, Lola cares about me because she has to care about me from 12 to 3.
That's right. Lola does care. That's
Yes,
right.
she does. Yes, she does. I got to ask you about golf. I just had Greg Brown on. And a lot of times if I have Greg Brown or John Wayner on, it's like we're golfing. Who is one of the better golfers on the times you played for those Stanley Cup champions? Would it have been Mario? Give me one or two of the top golfers on the Pittsburgh Penguin roster of the past.
Oh, yeah, it would have been Mario. Mario. Dan Quinn was really Mario and Dan Quinn. And, well, I'll give you Pierre LaRouche because Pierre's, different age, different grouping. But Pierre LaRouche is who we play with a lot. So Pierre, Mario, Dan Quinn, they were all very good in the times that I was playing hockey. Yep, they were the best.
I never knew
Mario's
that.
probably got the best. No, he's got the best. He has a tour-like swing. He has a very, well, not a surprise. He's very smooth. Like Ernie Els, everybody kind of talks. That if they would ever think about a swing, it would be like Ernie Els. So that's how Mario plays golf. And obviously, great around the greens and great short game. But as far as hockey players, when we were playing, Mario, Dan Quinn, and Pierre LaRouche were the best golfers that I was around when we played. And all the rest of us, like our group of guys, we all played from Randy Hillier, Rick Tocchet, myself. That was the group of guys that John Cullen is an outstanding golfer too.
Yeah.
Remember Cully back in the day? He's an outstanding golfer too.
I'd like to have been around those guys. You guys, I'd like to drive around the beer wagon.
Well, yeah, I have to say, I'm going to give you all our guys, Mark Recchi, Kevin Stevens. That was the group of guys we all played with. All the names I gave you, so it was because you know why? Everybody got along. Bill, it was just the guys that we kind of hung around with and we all played golf together, and it's a great group of guys. But still around here right now, still with Mario and Pierre, and Cully lives down in Atlanta, and Kevin's up in Boston, and Rex is coaching in Jersey. But for the most part, we have a great group of guys that we play golf with. But they're the best ones. They're the best ones. Yes.
Pierre LaRouche. Every time I see Mario, I said Pierre's got to be to his left or right. That's like those two are together all the time. I wish I had a buddy like Mario Lemieux, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hey, I used to attend in Pittsburgh because, I did a lot of charity events for different stations and stuff. And I think it was Cindy Himes. I don't know if she's still with the Penguins. She was marketing.
Yes, she is.
Is she still with the Penguins?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is. Yep.
She once said, you want to represent, I don't know which station it was in Pittsburgh. I said, what do you mean represent the station? I don't golf. Well, you can ride on the beer wagon and do some interviews. The Tom Barrasso Mario Lemieux golf tournament, remember that?
Well, yeah, exactly right. It was at Sewickley Heights at the time.
Yep.
It started off with Mario and Tom because of the charities, because Tom's daughter and what he was trying to raise money for, then Mario Foundation, and then eventually it all became just Mario's event, which went on for years at Nevillewood, and then it was at Laurel Valley a number of years, and then it was finished up at Nemacolin. So I don't know how many years. It was an outstanding event to play in and be a part of, and he raised so much money. He's so giving of his time. I mean, there might be, and I don't know for a fact, but there might be some people that are hosting an event but don't give their time as much, but he gives his time and everything to it. It's very, I would say that's very unique from a superstar of that status. Sometimes they might just lend their name or be a part of it to a degree, but Mario was very much there with everybody. That even right now, his fantasy camp that he has, he spends 5 straight days with all the people that come to the camp, and I think they all go home extremely happy because they just realize they spent all these hours and days with Mario in a way that I don't believe other superstars are like that.
Yeah, I always tell people you're a character guy. I wouldn't want to get in a fight with you, but I think I can outrun you if you give me a 100-yard start. The other night, three character guys sitting together, Mike Lang, Steve Blass, and Greg Brown. Didn't get any better than that. Were you
No.
in the arena at that time, or were you in the studio?
Yeah, I was right next to them. I was right next to them. We're in the arena now. We're able to work games. So I do my work from. Mario has his suite, and it's right next to where Mike Lang and Greg and Steve were. So we get to talk to them. I do my work from there. So it's very nice. Mario has. I don't know, just very nice. I sit up there in that suite and I do my work, and I was right next to them, right there, and it was great to. But those Mike Lang, obviously, the one thing, but Greg Brown and Steve Blass are wonderful people, and obviously, it's so good at what they did, and obviously the whole Mike Lang night.
You know, the guy that gave me the cup and basically said, I don't care what you do with it, and I raised about over $20,000 in Washington, PA. Howard Baldwin had me up to his suite at the old Civic Arena, and you know, I'm looking at all this food, and it was just my wife and myself and like a couple of ushers, and I said to Howard, "Who's going to eat all this food? That's for you." And I wish I had big pockets, you know. I would have taken jumbo shrimp home and everything. But yeah, those are real nice. So you know, if you got to take care of a friend from Mario's Suite, give me a call. No. Hey, I want to talk about the current edition of the Penguins. These guys are feisty. Sure. You know, I know a couple of them are probably playing for their jobs because when you get the big cats back, you know, Sid and of course Gino, changes have to be made. But you know what? I'm a firm believer. People may disagree with me. Right now, I think Mike Sullivan might be the best coach in hockey.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and I don't think if you polled the rest of the National Hockey League, I don't think they disagree with that either. So he's obviously does a great job. I think Bill, what I feel is he has everybody who comes in, they're play and understand what their roles and responsibilities are, and that certainly makes it a clearer as a player. That's what you want. That's what you would like, and then you understand what's expected of you, and you go out and do your duties. So and that's part of a team, and that's why they've been successful through 4 games so far.
You know that Dallas game? That reminded me of a playoff game. You're fading in and out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jay.
Yeah. You got me now?
No, I got you now.
Okay,
What is this, a commercial?
True, it should be. I agree with that. I agree with you about the playoff game stuff. It was the way Dallas played too. I thought Dallas was an extremely well coached team the other night also. So when I watched Chicago when they played the other night, they weren't.
No.
Or they didn't seem to be. Or they didn't pay attention to detail. They were all over the map, and the Penguins just destroyed them in that way. And so did Colorado the first opening night when Marc-Andre Fleury got blitzed for 4 goals in the first period. They're not his fault. He had no help with them at all.
No.
And you kind of look at his team and how what they were doing, and they weren't prepared. They weren't prepared against the Penguins, and they made them look that way.
Yeah, I was impressed. That was, you know, for the 3rd game of the year, I'm thinking that was a playoff game. You know, then you had the shootout. I mean, and I can't name 3 or 4 stars. I mean, Dallas stars, you know what I mean? But that was a great game to watch. I wanted the shootout to continue until the next morning. I love shootouts. And I love the 3-on-3. Lola and I agree on that. 3-on-3 hockey's great. You right, Lola? You agree? Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. I think that's the best thing the National Hockey League has done in years. That 3-on-3 is the most exciting. I like that to continue, but you know what? The players want to be. It's a lot for the players. I mean, that's a grind, those 3-on-3 situations, and the players that perform in that it's exhausting for them. It's a lot. Tough on the goalies and everything. There's so many opportunities, but it's certainly great for the sport.
Yeah. Is Chris Letang eating a lot of Wheaties in the morning? This guy's averaging about 27 to 29 minutes a game. I mean, he's so durable. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anybody like him.
Yeah, he gets, well, look, all players keep themselves in great shape, and the ones that don't will find their way out of the game. So Chris Letang, part of his role as a hockey player is not only that, but his whole deal is keeping himself in the best shape he can be and to play the minutes that he does, and he gets stronger as the games go on. Yeah. So the more minutes he plays, the better he gets, and the hungrier he gets. So it's perfect. He's getting better. His last year was outstanding. He's starting off this year the same way. So they need him to continue to be the force that they can be.
You know, I think, I miss Three River Stadium because it's louder than Heinz Field, okay? But I miss, if I was a player, if a Penguin player, I would say, man, I miss the arena. Because, the visiting locker room was about as big as our bathroom down the hall. And, today they got beautiful facilities for the visiting team. They have cooks serving them food. You know what I mean? I thought there was an advantage playing at the Civic Arena for the home team.
Yeah, it would be, but it's also an advantage for the players because their accommodations for the Penguin players are second to none. I mean, it's the same way. I mean, so it goes both ways, but I agree. It's certainly way more comfortable for the opposition to come into that building than it was the arena. So, Civic Arena. So I agree with that part, Bill, but I also think the players, what they have at both the practice facility and PPG Paints Arena are first-class accommodations, and they play. I think the Penguin ownership does such a good job of taking care of their players, and then the players reward them with great play and so on and so forth. But every little thing is done for the player, and it's first class. So I think the players certainly love the building too.
And
I think the ice is always something that has to be good too.
Yeah.
The ice is a big thing. I mean, they've always been working on it all the time, and so they're trying to make it as good as it can be, and it's a big thing for players as well.
And, between Boston and Pittsburgh, I've watched a lot of hockey, interviewed a lot of hockey players. I can't recall anybody, stirring the pot, whether it be about salary or I don't like this guy or whatever. You never hear hockey players complain.
No, I don't. You really don't. And it's funny because I do believe money in all sports eventually changes the dynamic of the player that's coming up into the sport, right?
Yep.
Because if you went back in time, I mean, you do hear what you said, Bill. Most people really will enjoy meeting a guy that played hockey versus maybe some other sport, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends who you come across.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's great that they stay that way with the money that they're now making in the game, and it's a big thing. I mean, the press, the public has access to the player, and it's great to see that there are always still good stories out there about a professional athlete, and great it's hockey players.
And I think it's a great thing because sometimes in the ratings war, a bowling tournament would get better ratings than maybe a Stanley Cup game. But ESPN, that's going to help hockey as far as ratings and, more viewers and get people used to, watching hockey.
Yeah, I agree. It's a shame it ever left in the first place. I mean,
That's true,
can remember. Yeah. I remember we left and it went to Sports Channel and something else. And we're like, going like, what is? Nobody. I mean, even the players, we didn't understand it. So I don't know how the deal was done, but that they're back with ESPN, that's great. And I think ESPN and TNT, they're all going to do a great job and try and go against each other to who has the better product. So it's only going to be good for the game.
You know who I miss? You ready? One's going to be a Boston Bruin, and another one's going to be a Boston Bruin coach. Mike Milbury, Don Cherry, and the great one from Beaver County, Western Pennsylvania, Mike Emmerich.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Mike Emmerich. I think that voice would have made people buy in right away. I really do. I mean, and I agree about Don Cherry. I mean, all those things that go on up in Canada. I mean, it's amazing how he's squeezed out of there, and we know the Mike Milbury situation. I understand that. Whatever, they wanted to change it up, but Mike Emmerich, and I think he just had enough. I mean, right? It's a grind, the travel and everything. But that voice, you could have put him on ESPN, TNT. You could put him on PBS. You could put him anywhere. And if he did call a game, people would tune in to watch it. He's that entertaining and great to listen to, and the whole hockey world's going to miss that.
Well, you remind me a little bit of Mike Milbury. You tell it like it is. And no, you do. What I like, when the Penguins lose, I can't wait till you come on the post-game show because you will give them credit. You will say, well, so-and-so did so-and-so, and, you tell it like it is. You're not a homer. That's what I like about you.
Oh, good. Well, thanks, Bill. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you try and do it in a way, though, that's respectful, too.
That's true. Respect, yeah.
You got respect for that. Because all players, there's nothing worse when you're a player and something, everybody, you do it respectful because they're out there, they're giving it their all. All those players are giving it their all, and sometimes it doesn't go the way you need it to.
Yeah. Do you remember years ago when they had a computer, like which team was better, the 49ers or the Steelers during the Super Bowl years? They also on the computer, Ali versus Frazier. Boy, I'd like to do something with Terry O'Reilly versus Jay Caulfield. Two of the best fighters in the world. I'd have to put my money on you.
Well,
Now I'm going
Maybe,
to call Terry O'Reilly and say, "Did you hear what Jay Caulfield said about you?" No, I'm not.
No, you know, I was Terry O'Reilly. To me, all those guys were those old school fighters. That was the world keeps changing, but those guys were they were as tough as they came, especially somebody like that. So
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. Yep.
Hey, you were a Philadelphia Flyer, weren't you, at one time?
No, never. I grew up there. I grew up in Philly.
Oh, you like the
grew up
Broad
in that-
Street Bullies? We're going to get something out of this. Tell me you like the Flyers like from 74 to 76.
Well, that's what just like if you grew up in Pittsburgh, you were being a Penguins fan. I grew up in Philadelphia, right when the Flyers. I mean, that's how we get into hockey because of the Flyers of that day. I mean, that day and age, because hockey, we didn't even know it. So, yep, I grew up watching. But I will tell you who one of my favorite players was, though. Rick McLeish was one of my favorite players, though. So
good guy.
I loved the way he played the game, and I get that the game was run out of him, but they won cups. But it got the interest of the city of Philadelphia and all people that didn't play hockey in Pennsylvania. So that's why we didn't start skating until high school, basically. So you get going, and it was because of the Flyers, just the way the Pittsburgh area, what the Penguins did, but Mario, what he meant to all these young players playing the game today. Now with Crosby, Yager, you go from Yager, then Crosby and Malcolm, what they mean to all the young players, it's pretty amazing, the value of a superstar that dominates and people just fall in love with the game through it.
You know, I recently spent some time with Eddie Johnson. I didn't know he lived like 11 miles from my house, and he tells me a lot of great stories about the days in Boston. And I asked him, because, you know, I like to stir it up. I said, give me a 30-year-old Jay Caulfield and a 30-year-old Dave Schultz. Now, when the Penguins got Dave Schultz, he wouldn't fight a spider. But in the heyday, you wouldn't want to mess with him. Cement head, I think they called him. All right, you're 30, he's 30. Can you take him out? You know what EJ said?
My God. I don't.
EJ said they'd be fighting forever.
That's a good answer.
There's a guy.
That's a good answer.
That's a guy that should write a book. Between his days in
Oh, I
Boston,
know.
you know, I still hear him announcing Mario Lemieux, #1 pick.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, he's a charmer. He's a charmer, and I know he's Bobby Orr's great friend. By the way, he's still working on Bobby Orr to come on the show, so that'll be good too.
That would be awesome.
And,
That'd be very good, Bill.
All right, but I knew you were a Philadelphia Flyer fan. But those guys were dirty back then. Come on.
Well, you know, I just said I grew up watching them, so that's the first hockey we got used to. So just like, hey, they won cups. I mean, they had great players on the team too. So that's the way it goes. That's the way teams were built back then, and they were built just to a different level and a different degree.
Yep.
But I told you, I like Rick McLeish, Reggie Leach, players like that too.
I'll tell you who could fight you on any day. If they played on a bad team, Steve Durbano and Bob Battleship Kelly. I wouldn't want anything to do with them.
Well, Bob Battleship Kelly's a great guy. I met him years ago being here, and I really like when the time meeting Bob. I really enjoyed meeting him, and he's a great guy. Great guy when I met him.
Guess what? You're a great guy, Jay. Always a pleasure to talk to you when you're not playing golf.
All right, Bill. Tell Lola bye, and thanks for everything, Bill.
All right, Lola loves you too. Take care, my man.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bob Battleship Kelly. They fought. There was 3 brothers, I think, played for the St. Louis Blues, and every time they would come to Pittsburgh, because I was there a lot of time, not to see hockey games, see the fights, it was Bob Battleship Kelly, Steve Durbano, and I forgot the third character. But they went against the big 3 of the Blues. And I mean, there were punches galore. And Bob Kelly and Steve Durbano, I could see them now skating down the ice with their hands locked together, like we just beat the crap out of them. And they did. It took a while. Back then, you always go to a hockey game if your team wasn't that good, but you're there for the fights. Now nobody wants to fight because you get fined, you get suspended, you put the team in a penalty situation. Caulfield, he's great. Should be with ESPN, but he likes Pittsburgh, and I'm glad he's hanging around. We're going to hang around for another hour, okay? We're usually on, 12 to 3? Used to be 12 to 2, but it's called Extended Play. EP coming up on The Variety Show.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600, WKKX Wheeling.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The White House wants Democrats to have a framework ready on the president's Build Back Better agenda by the end of next week, but the tab is still a sticking point. Moderate Democratic Senator Joe Manchin says he won't support the $3.5 trillion. The president countered with just under $2 trillion, but Manchin today says that's still too high.
You always know I've been at 1.5, okay? Negotiations are ongoing, and I think people have had good dialogue. We just want to make sure that what we're doing is basically going to be sustainable and it helps the people.
Manchin and Republicans are pushing for a separate vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Another big-name manufacturer signaling that higher prices are on the way for popular products that you use every day.
The cost of everyday items made by Unilever is going up because Chief Executive Alan Jope said they're costing more to make.
We continue to see inflation, with the cost of many commodities up sharply versus a year ago.
Retailers and wholesalers often eat the increases themselves. Not this time, said Unilever's Graham Pitcatley.
Consumer-facing price is the last lever we normally use to manage inflation, but we have landed list price increases around the world.
Supply chain disruption and its consequences for consumers he expected to persist into the first half of next year. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Efforts continue to free 16 Americans and 1 Canadian held hostage in Haiti for ransom. A gang abducted that group of Christian missionaries last weekend. ABC's Marcus Moore is in Port-au-Prince with the latest.
What's unclear right now is exactly the nature of their communications. We've confirmed that the ransom demand has been made for $1 million per person. That's all we really know at this point. We don't have any specific reporting on how the hostages are doing, nor exactly where they are at this point. They could be potentially somewhere in the city or towards the outskirts. We just don't know at this point.
5 children are among the hostages. You're listening to ABC News.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but because of the pandemic, millions of women have missed getting their regular mammograms. In an exclusive interview with ABC News, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden urging women to make that a priority, saying there's nothing more important than one's health.
The next thing you have to do today is call your doc and get in there and get your screenings. If you go get that mammogram and they catch it early, you have a fighting chance.
Former Alitalia flight attendants shedding their uniforms in silent protest.
The former flight attendants stood atop Rome's Capitol Hill, stripping down to their undergarments. The flight attendants used to work for the Italian national airline Alitalia, which shut down operations last week. Its reduced replacement, ITA, rehired only 3,000 of the 10,000 employees at much lower pay. We've been forced to sign a humiliating contract, said one of the protesters. Alitalia was plagued for years with mismanagement. Megan Williams, ABC News, Rome.
For the first time, drones will be delivering packages to a major metropolitan area. Customers in 2 Dallas suburbs would be able to order a product from Walgreens or other participating stores, and a drone from a company called Wing will drop off that package, the company says, within 10 minutes. This is ABC News.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life."
I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub.
It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors, and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Greatest invention ever.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
This is ONN.
Ohio's Democratic U.S. Senator says he has offered his assistance in resolving a hostage situation in Haiti involving more than a dozen Christian missionaries with Ohio ties. Senator Sherrod Brown told the Ohio News Network this morning that the State Department has shared little information other than what has been made publicly available, but he puts his full faith in their efforts.
They're professionals at the State Department. These aren't political appointees that work on these kinds of things. This is a diplomatic effort and a hostage-taking situation that our State Department is skilled at wanting, if you will, and solving.
A Haitian gang is demanding $17 million ransom. That's $1 million apiece for each missionary affiliated with the Millersburg-based organization. 16 of the abductees are Americans and 1 is Canadian. And efforts in the northeastern corner of the state to avoid a trial in a case from 2017 may have failed. Lena Lai with affiliate station WKYC-TV in Cleveland explains.
In Ashtabula County, a plea agreement for accused killer Joshua Gurto has been rejected by a judge. The 42-year-old Gurto is facing charges in the rape and murder of his girlfriend's 13-month-old daughter. The judge said in a statement the court's reasoning for rejecting the plea will remain sealed. The decision comes just days before Gurto was scheduled to go on trial. I'm Lena Lai.
And I'm Daniel Barnett on the Ohio News Network.
More live and local programming than anyone else in the Ohio Valley. The Watchdog returns in moments.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there is one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. Being in business for over 50 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at DoanFord.com.
I'm not buying till I check Doan Ford.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Mostly cloudy skies, a few showers and rumbles of thunder, a daytime high near 64. 48 degrees for the overnight low with showers on and off. You'll see the chance for showers for your Friday with cooler temperatures for daytime highs in the mid to upper 50s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
Was so much colder then. My father was a soldier then.
and times were very hard when I was young. When I was young, I smoked my first cigarette at 10, and for girls I had a bad yen, and I had quite a ball when I was young. When I was young, it was more important. Pain, more pain, but laughter much louder.
Now that I think about it, I think I said one time after hearing this song about smoking my first cigarette, I think I was 8 or 9, not 11 or 12. It was behind a barn in Bentleyville before we moved to Washington. And I thought, nobody's going to see this, so it was a Raleigh cigarette. No, a Lucky Strike. And I'm coughing, right? And who comes around the barn? My great aunt. You know what happened after that? A big Maverick belt that I sent away. It was like wrappers from Reynolds Wrap. You send in like $4 and $1, and you get this huge belt. She hit me with that. Never touched a cigarette since. Now in college, I had different kind of cigarettes, but never got in trouble. And that voice you hear, it's been a while. Justin Malarkey is here. All right. No relation, no good friend of mine who was a tight end for the Steelers, still looking for a job. And that's Mike Malarkey. All right.
He's still looking for a job?
Yeah, I thought he would get, we keep in touch, and I'm thinking, man,
What a brilliant mind he was.
Oh, yeah.
He was the offensive coordinator for us for a little while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he went Buffalo to be head coach.
Yeah, and that didn't go so well. I
No.
don't think that was all his fault, though. He didn't have very good players for a while.
No.
But a brilliant offensive mind.
Yep.
I remember, because he was around during the Tommy Maddox years.
Yeah.
And that's when they started running a lot of trick plays and stuff like that, and they were really successful doing that for a while.
Yep.
And I think he was offensive coordinator for Ben's first couple years, too.
Yep. Yeah, still looking. Still a smart guy. Nice guy, too. I remember Tommy Maddox, number 8.
Yeah.
They sold
Tommy
a lot
Gunn.
of those. Yeah, they sold a lot of those jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
And, all the girlies out there like number 8. Yeah. If you went to Three River Stadium to watch them, or no, Heinz Field, I think later, you saw number 8 everywhere.
Yep.
But quick
then-
flash in the pan.
And then he got hurt.
Yep. and
Big
then
Ben comes in, went 15 and 1.
Wow.
Yep.
You want your own sports show here?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I
You
really
just like being a guest, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good coming in here.
I don't think have I talked to you since you lost your house and your dogs? I haven't talked to you, have I?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. A lot of folks were thinking about you at that time, by the way.
Yeah.
What do you say? I didn't know what to say.
Well,
But I drove home after I found out, and I can't remember driving on 70 to go home.
Yeah.
You ever get to that? I was
Oh,
so
yeah.
focused on,
Yeah.
But you lost 3 dogs. Tell the folks out there, all right, how you found a dog.
Oh, we were 2 of our dogs that we had were Border Collie and Australian Shepherd mixes, and that Border Collie breed we really like. So we were in a bunch of different Facebook groups and everything, and when we decided that we were looking, we were contacting a couple different breeders and everything, and the Border Collie, I don't know, breeder group, if you will, it's a tight-knit community.
Oh, okay.
And because the breeders are all really responsible when it comes to breeding these dogs.
Okay.
Border Collies are known as working dogs, and so they protect the interest of the dogs really tightly. They don't want these dogs getting into irresponsible hands and everything because it can dilute the bloodlines, if you will. So when you contact a breeder and you say, I would love to get a puppy, then they do, they want to find out more about you.
Yeah.
So the one breeder that we contacted, she started, looking at our Facebook page and our pages and everything, and she found out what happened to our dogs, and she offered to give us a dog for free. So we went up to Wisconsin and got it.
Now, that type of dog had to cost a few bucks.
Yeah,
if you were to pay for it, right?
Border Collies are typically very expensive,
Wow.
anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500
What?
sometimes. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Just for a puppy, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then my mother-in-law, when we...
She went with you to
Yeah,
Wisconsin?
She went with us.
She wanted to see the Packers, right?
Yeah, well, we stayed in Green Bay.
Yeah, okay.
Because where we were going is up in like Sturgeon Bay, which is just north of Green Bay, about 40 minutes.
Is that near Appleton, home of Rocky Blyer, do you know?
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
But it's right on the bay. I got a couple pictures of the bay of Green Bay.
Okay.
Very pretty up there. But yeah, my mother-in-law ended up getting a puppy too. So we came home with two of them.
Oh, wow. What'd you name the puppy?
Jack.
Okay.
And then my mother-in-law's puppy is Coda.
Coda?
Yeah, he looks like a bear. Okay. The closest bear name that we could think of was Coda.
Okay.
They're both stinking cute, and border collies are just so smart. Very, very energetic. You have to let them, I mean, they've got energy for days, so you got to let them burn that energy off.
Lola has a question for you.
Well, no, it's not a question. That's what my dog was. She was
A border collie?
Or Australian Shepherd, and either border collie or sheltie.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. But Australian Shepherd, very similar to border collies in that. You know, they've got a ton of energy and all that herding instinct.
And they're so smart.
Oh, so stinking smart.
I
Yeah.
mean, Gretchen had a vocabulary that was,
Oh, yeah.
surpassed probably some of my relatives.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And just so even-tempered
Uh-huh.
and very sociable, and,
Yeah.
she just,
Oh, yeah, the Australian Shepherds, I mean, like, the two dogs that we had, they were border and Aussies, and, they're both very pretty and just so calm when, around people, they're, they love being around people and everything. They're both great breeds.
I know, I miss mine, so
Oh,
I miss her so.
Yeah, Justin, she recently lost Gretchen.
Yeah, I understand how you feel, trust me.
And the first time Gretchen was here, I fell in love with Gretchen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can believe it.
It's just almost like a human being.
Yeah.
Kinder and nicer than some relatives that I don't like.
Well, like I said, she was smarter than some of mine.
Yeah.
that's for sure.
So I'm writing Australian what? What was it?
Australian Shepherd.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the other breed, and they're very similar in appearance and temperament and smartness and everything to border collies. Very, very similar breeds. They were both bred for the same thing, just in different areas. They were herding dogs. You can go on YouTube and see some of these videos of people, running border collies or Aussies out, doing herding drills or agility drills, and they're both of them are fantastic at it.
Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, and both breeds are regularly considered the smartest dog breeds too. So,
How kind was that lady to give you the dog?
Oh, very kind.
I mean, that's a great story.
Yeah.
That's a great story. You probably was happy driving home, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a little bit of a tough drive driving home
Oh,
with
yeah.
two puppies. You have to stop every hour. And,
Well, I do that, and I don't have any puppies. You
Right.
know, as you get old, every stop you look, how far from a restroom? Oh,
Yeah.
10 more miles. Yeah, that was, but yeah, Green Bay, I've been there a couple of times. It's a beautiful area.
Very pretty up that way.
Yeah.
That was my first time staying in the Green Bay area. We drove up on a Monday, then got up in the morning and then drove, 40 minutes up to get the dog, and then drove back home that day. And I'd never been to Wisconsin before. It was one of the few states that I hadn't been to before. So we drove the route up through Indianapolis and then Chicago, Milwaukee, and then Green Bay. And Milwaukee, another town, very, very pretty, I thought.
Yeah.
At least what I got to see of it anyway.
And Chicago, when it's not cold, it's a great town.
Yeah, the traffic is insane, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been to Chicago several times, and the traffic is just terrible. And it doesn't matter what time of day you go through Chicago.
It's almost as bad as L.A.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go to L.A.
L.A., I don't know. That's a whole other level.
It's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Especially if you're in the fast lane.
Yeah,
Because there's no such thing as slow lane.
No, there isn't.
You know?
Unless you're on the 408 over there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a parking lot while you're trying to drive on that.
Yeah, what is it in Germany where you go 150 miles an hour?
The Autobahn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't survive there either.
Yeah.
So, well,
when I was driving Chicago and you had to keep, you have to keep up with everybody or else it's even more dangerous for you.
Yeah.
So you drive through Chicago and you have to be aggressive like everybody else and, take your spot in lanes and stuff. And, of course I was driving. Mother-in-law in the back seat was getting scared. I just told her to close her eyes.
Wow.
We'll get through it.
Makes you appreciate wheeling, huh? Or Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh isn't that bad,
No,
honestly.
no.
You know, when you drive through New York City or L.A. or Chicago, that gives you a better appreciation for the traffic that we get around here. Even in Pittsburgh and Columbus, they're not nearly
Even
as
Cleveland's
bad.
okay.
Yeah.
You can be in and out of Cleveland in no time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that's terrible about traffic in Pittsburgh is they don't really have a beltway that goes around the city.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you go to Columbus, you got 270 out there. It goes around it. Pittsburgh, if you need to get to the north end, you have to drive through downtown almost
To get to the north end, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
It's simple to get to the casino, though. You come out of the tunnels and right there to
Yeah,
the left, you know?
hang a left.
Yeah, hang a left, all right? And don't go straight because you get lost in Swickley or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, yeah, I think I had 2 or 3 trips to Green Bay. And every time I talked to Rocky Blyer, and I said, how's the mayor of Appleton? It's a small town. That's where he grew up. So.
So that's north of Green Bay?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
The cheese state, right?
Yeah.
You didn't come back with a cheese head like a Packers fan, did you?
Nah. The hotel that we stayed at was pretty close to the stadium, though.
Okay. All right.
I wanted to drive by it, but we were kind of on a tight schedule. And we had my daughter with me, and she's only 2, so that added another layer of difficulty to the travel as well.
Yeah.
Especially on the
Everything's
way back home.
Yeah.
Have 2 puppies and a 2-year-old.
You keep in touch with the lady that gave you the dog?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
That's you bond forever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, that border collie community is pretty tight knit. So
Was that like a fraternity or just really tight group of people with
yeah,
the dog? Okay.
yeah, because I mean, obviously we don't have a farm, so we're not going to be working our dogs or anything like that. So they're family pets, but with border collies, you have to make sure that you're getting them out and running them and all that sort of stuff to make sure that they burn off that energy, or else they can become destructive. And Facebook is really cool for things like this. To get in touch with other people that have border collies and stuff like that, so you can learn how to best deal with that temperament and everything. They're great dogs. You just have to learn how to deal with them and all that energy.
I don't know how you do it, keeping everything together, but you've done a great job. So
Thanks.
I probably felt worse than you.
Oh,
Because when I can't believe that he lost 3 dogs too.
Yeah.
You can always rebuild. Was it an apartment you lived in?
No, we had a house.
Okay.
Yeah, we were renting that and everything, and yeah, it definitely was a big shock and obviously terrible situation. But we had a lot of family and friends to help get us through it. And
Well, I know a
everything.
lot of your coworkers, are always there for you. too.
Yeah, no
and your
doubt.
friends here at the Watchdog.
Yeah, no, coworkers have just been absolutely amazing. Everybody has.
You traveled a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You ought to travel with Denny Magruder.
Oh.
Every time I talk to him, I'm on Route 66. I'm in San Francisco.
Well, he took I think almost 4 weeks off, and he got to go travel, and he went out Route 66 and everything there.
Wow.
And Denny, Denny's a big time traveler. So if you have any questions about should I travel here or say, hey, I'm thinking about maybe going this place or that place, he'll sit down and he'll talk for hours about these different places, because it feels like he's been everywhere. You know what I mean? I think he told me he's been in every state in the country, and he counts being in a state as staying the night in a hotel there, at least one night. So he's been to all of them. And
So if he goes to Wyoming, he's got to stay there one night to make it legit.
Right. Yeah, and he's checked them all off the list there.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Next time
any travel questions, you can talk to Denny Magruder about him. He'll hook you up.
Next time I have him on, it's been a while because he's always busy.
Yeah.
I got to play Rick Nelson's Traveling
Yeah,
Man.
you should.
You know what I mean? He hasn't been in Honolulu, has he?
I think he has.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, that he loves to travel. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that, but has he been to the Grand Canyon?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay.
You get him talking about some of his travel stories, and you'll be there for hours.
Well, he once
sometimes.
told me years ago, I like to travel.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, he's got to go here or there about meetings and stuff. But
Yeah. Well, a lot.
I think he went to Alcatraz, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done that. I've heard the story. I think he's done it twice, actually. He got to travel doing a lot of work and everything too, obviously. But that that was his go-to thing when they're planning vacations. They don't like to go to the same place twice and stuff.
How
So
about out of the country?
I don't know. I think he spends a lot of time traveling in the country.
Yeah, because if he goes to Rome, I can tell him how. Well, no, I'd get him lost. Forget it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But he told me that years ago, and I never gave it a thought. I like to travel too, but I haven't visited every state. I visit almost all the ball fields and stuff. But how about Iowa? Was he at the cornfield?
Yeah, I was too.
You were?
Yeah, in March.
Field of Dreams?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It's out literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So the biggest city near there is Dubuque, Iowa.
Dubuque? I can't even spell that.
Yeah, and it doesn't even look like how it's pronounced either. It's but anyway, Dubuque is along the Mississippi River on the corner between Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin. And I traveled out there in March. I was helping a promoter do a few Travis Tritt shows. And I think we were in Dubuque, and I can't remember the other town I was in Iowa. But anyway, Dubuque was the last day out there. And I realized that the Field of Dreams site was about a half hour away. Now, it was a half hour back the opposite direction of how I needed to go home, but I thought it was worth it to go up there and look. Little did I realize it didn't, the museum and whatever didn't officially open until like 9 a.m., and I was there at 8:30, and I'm looking at my watch and thinking about, my 12 and a half hour drive home. I was like, maybe I should just get moving. But I drove up to it and looked around.
Did you go near
my
the
truck.
farmhouse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I drove down to it. To the farm. Well, to the barn that they have down there.
Oh.
So you haven't been there?
No.
Okay, so you go, you get off this. They call it a highway, but it's not like a highway like we would think of around here. But anyway, you get off the highway, and you hang a right back into these cornfields, and you're like, well, these roads look halfway decent. Then you get further down, and they turn into almost gravel roads.
Oh.
You have
I would go berserk.
Yeah.
Can't call AAA, huh?
No, I don't think they'd get out there. But anyway, you get out there, and then you're literally on a dirt and gravel road to get down to this site. They take care of the road up to the driveway to get to the field, and then immediately after that, completely not taken care of after that. It's your typical, field out in Iowa at that point. But you could see where they were building the field that they just used recently for the MLB game that the White Sox and Yankees played. They weren't on the movie site field for that game they just did. What was that, like 2 months ago?
Yeah. Right after, I think that All-Star break or something?
Yeah. They did that on a brand new field adjacent to it.
Yeah.
And you could see where they were building that field. But the movie set field is still well taken care of. It's still really pretty, and you are literally in the middle of cornfields. It's really cool. Typically, typical Iowa weather when I was there, nice and windy and that sort of thing. Very pretty, though. It was in May.
Were you close to any convenience stores or gas stations or anything?
You're a good 20 minutes away from anything like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah, but it's near Dubuque, Iowa. So if you want to go up and visit it, I would recommend. Dubuque is a very nice town. It reminds me a lot of Wheeling. A lot of red brick buildings like we have in Wheeling.
Is it an old town?
Yeah, it's a pretty old town.
Okay.
Not as old as Wheeling, but a pretty old town. Similar type of architecture there, too. I worked at the arena there. They have an arena and a theater all in one building out there in Dubuque. And it was a pretty cool venue, but a very pretty town. And you got the Mississippi running right through there, really cool.
Did you run into Tom Sawyer?
No.
Or was that Huckleberry Finn? Which one was it?
I don't know.
Hey, we got to take a break. All right.
Okay.
I forget you've been in a lot of venues with your business production and everything, right?
Yeah, lots of them.
Did you ever work with the Rolling Stones?
No.
Oh, do I have a story to tell you?
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back, and we have an update on the Cleveland Browns quarterback. I don't know if it's good news or bad news.
He's out.
Yeah, and he's going to need, this is called a tease, so people keep listening. Why is he out? Okay, all right. Is he doing too many commercials? You have to wait and see. or wait and listen. We're here, and we'll be right back.
If the Mountaineers are going to have success on Saturday night, they must stop TCU's running game. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Caridi. That story and more coming up on today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics.
Kroger knows this year the holidays are doubly important, so make your celebrations doubly special with fresh, never frozen, prime grade beef and Simple Truth organic Brussels sprouts. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Double specialness, void where prohibited. Certain restrictions. Wait, stop, illegal. We've got even more special holiday food, like delicious king crab legs with private selection gourmet potatoes, or cave-aged Murray's cheese, and fresh baked La Brea bread. Kroger, fresh for everyone. All right, legal. You're up. Double specialness, void where prohibited. Certain restrictions may apply. Shop at participating stores for more details.
42 million Americans struggle with hunger, yet 35% of the food in this country is wasted. Those aren't just numbers, they're our neighbors, your daughter's friend from school, the family of 4 next door. The Kroger Company Zero Hunger, Zero Waste Foundation is committed to making fresh food accessible to all by ensuring it never goes to waste. Together, we can help end hunger. Learn more at zerohungerzerowastefoundation.org.
If the Mountaineer football team is going to enjoy some success against TCU Saturday night, they have to do one thing for sure, and that is stop the Horned Frogs' very powerful running attack.
Yeah, I think that's got to be our first priority versus these guys. You know, I don't think that they've hidden the fact that they want to run the football. That's their first and foremost goal. And for us, we got to put them in must-pass situations, and we got to stop them. I think first down's going to be huge in this game. If you look at it, I think both Evans and Miller, their yards per carry, they're 2 of the highest in the country. Yards per rush attempt, they're right there at the top in the Big 12 and in college football right now. So we feel good about our run defense. That's been the best part, probably our best part of our football team. That and a couple areas on special teams so far. But it's maybe our biggest challenge this week.
There is going to be one change on that Mountaineers starting lineup come Saturday night, and that is Jackie Matthews will be moving in to start at the spear position.
Scotty's back. Jackie will start at the spear. Jackie is played really good football for us. I think he's been one of our most consistent performers. He's aggressive. I think that's his natural spot there at spear. I think that he gets him closer to the ball, where it gives us the ability to play a little bit more man coverage with him in the game there. And he's a good blitzer, and so I think that's a good spot for him. But Scotty, he's back, and he'll be out there this week.
Mountaineer head coach Neil Brown, Scotty Young, did miss West Virginia's last game against the Baylor Bears. That is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from Learfield.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. The Sun Belt and Conference USA are both exploring expansion possibilities as the American Athletic Conference is expected to announce the addition of 6 teams today. Sun Belt is targeting Southern Miss, Marshall, and Old Dominion from Conference USA, along with James Madison from the FCS. Conference USA believes it can add James Madison and Liberty, which could keep Marshall and ODU in the league. Baseball playoffs yesterday, the Houston Astros pounded the Red Sox 9-1. Houston takes a 3-2 series lead in that series. Game 6 is tomorrow night in Houston. The Atlanta Braves are a win away from the World Series. The Braves beat the Dodgers yesterday 9-2. Game 5 is today. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog.
Hi, break time?
I know you.
I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. It seems like you take care of yourself.
I do. I play tennis. I try to eat well.
What about screening for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. Colon cancer is more treatable when it's caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and is used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit requestcologuard.com.
I'm on it.
Excellent.
If you're on Medicare and have questions about health and drug coverage options, join the Ohio Department of Insurance at a Medicare event near you. Learn about Medicare open enrollment, financial assistance programs, and important deadlines. Everyone on Medicare should review their health and drug plan options. Annual open enrollment runs October 15th through December 7th, and new plan coverage begins January 1st. Visit insurance.ohio.gov or call 1-800-686-1578 to find an event near you.
Do you enjoy sports betting and fantasy sports? If so, it's important to know that gambling's not a way to pay bills or earn income. Learn how to set limits and recognize the warning signs for problem gambling by visiting beforeyoubet.org. You can also assess your risk by taking the Responsible Gambling Quiz. Beforeyoubet.org provides free resources to help keep gambling safe and fun for Ohioans. Be a fan with a plan this season and go to beforeyoubet.org to learn more.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Hey, man, what can I get you?
Yeah, can I have 2 Coors Lights?
You got it.
Hey, Mike! I need 2 Coors Lights! Sure thing.
With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go.
Thanks, Mike. Doing a great job. All right, 2 ice-cold Coors Lights.
That's the coldest beer I've ever had.
Hey, they don't call it the world's most refreshing beer for nothing.
Okay, be honest with me. Do you really have the Rocky Mountains in your beer cooler?
You don't believe it? Check it out.
Man, that's pretty amazing.
I know, right? I can't believe it myself sometimes. I mean, this cooler is only 3 feet wide.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
Hi, this is Hoppy Kercheval. Join me weekdays at 10:06, right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe for Statewide Talk Line. I'll have guests, conversations, texts, phone calls on all the big stories affecting West Virginia. So tune in weekdays right here on FM 98.1 and FM 97.7, The Watchdog.
In from NFL, what is it, .com? The Browns have activated wide receiver, Landry. Oh, he's a good ball player. I forgot that he was on IR. He will face the Broncos tonight. Baker Mayfield will not be throwing to him because he'll be on the sidelines. Case Keenum, he's been around for a long time. How about this stat, Mr. Malarkey? You ready? Case Keenum tonight, is the Browns' 31st starting quarterback since 1999. How about that? The Steelers have had what, maybe 11 quarterbacks since then?
I don't even think they've had that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. You know,
Cliff Stout, Bubby Brister,
since
Terry
since
Bradshaw,
'99.
Tommy Maddox. You know what? There might only be 4 or 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah, since '99.
Yeah,
There's
and,
not
and how many head coaches have the Browns had since 1999?
Yeah,
you know?
that's insane. You know what?
Quarterbacks. Look how many quarterbacks they've had.
Yeah, I don't even think I could name half of them.
Yeah. And how about like I said, head coaches? Steelers only had 3 since 1969.
Yep.
So somebody's doing something right. But no Baker. Now the latest is, I guess he's been told by his second or third opinion, because he didn't agree with the first opinion, he needs surgery after the season. Do you know how many defensive linemen are going, oh, I can't wait to tackle him and throw him on his left shoulder?
Right.
Because, you don't want to tell the the defensive guys, I'm hurt, the quarterback's hurting. I mean, he's a right-handed thrower, but that's still got to affect his bat. I don't know.
Well, you would think. He's doing too many
And
commercials.
remember, he's waiting to get a contract extension. I wouldn't give him a lot of money. You know? And watch Case have a good game tonight.
Right.
He's a veteran.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
I think
Baker does too many commercials. You're right.
I like those commercials.
They're
I think
great,
they're
yeah.
hilarious, but he's even doing them during the season and everything too. And that's got to be a distraction. But I think I enjoy the Steelers games better when the Browns are good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's made that Ravens rivalry so good over the years. Is the Ravens are actually routinely good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look at this year. They're 5-1, 14, 15 guys on IR, and they still find ways. It's called organization. That's one of the best organizations in football.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So the AFC North is, Cincinnati,
The
Cleveland.
Bengals.
But the Bengals are going to do okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Who is that?
Getting a phone call.
Yeah, go ahead and call. This is my doctor.
Oh,
Hello?
it really is.
I'm
But-
doing good. Can
yeah.
you call me back at 3:05, please? I'm on the air.
Just taking a phone call in the middle of the
3:05,
show.
or I'll put you on the radio.
You should put him on the radio.
Well, there's nobody there. Yeah, call me at 3:05, please. Bye. I like to have one nice day.
Yeah.
Where nothing goes wrong. Then I think of you, and I goes, well, you know what? You've been fortunate, Bill.
I appreciate that.
And, my guest, good guy, one of the many good guys that works for Denny Magruder. That's why Denny's so good. He surrounds himself with good people. Boy, am I being really nice.
You
Justin
are. What
Malarkey,
happened to you?
No relation to the popular tight end. He wasn't exactly media friendly because he was shy. But when he became like a coach, he was cool. Then he went to Buffalo, and there was a lot of great expectations, but he wasn't surrounded with good people. You know. And now he's looking for a job.
Didn't Bill Cowher play tight end too?
No, he was special teams guy and linebacker.
Okay.
Remember the guy for the head coach for a number of years for the Oilers, Houston and then Tennessee?
No.
Very popular. Cowher broke his leg in the game.
Okay.
I forget the guy's name.
Yeah, I think I know who you're
Why
talking
do we
about.
do this?
I don't know.
I'll think about this when I get to Claysville exit.
It'll pop up to me at like midnight tonight.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I have no idea, but yeah. Oh, what was his name? Very popular coach, good friends with Cowher, but it was Cowher broke his leg. I guess he went back for a kickoff, and boom, Cowher was there and just laid one on him. You can get on the video.
Yeah.
But he was the coach of the Oilers in Tennessee, and I'll think about it, or somebody will call. There's always somebody out there. Sometimes I'll even give the wrong score.
Yeah, and
so
somebody
will
call
call and say,
you.
well, Fabio, you made a mistake.
Right.
That way I know at least one person's listening.
Yeah.
Well, I talked about the Rolling Stones, and I knew what I was getting into. And, I smiled and nodded my head, yep. But, some of these groups, I know they pay a lot of money to put on these stage shows and stuff.
Yeah.
But, man, you got to be nice.
Oh, yeah.
You probably could write a book, right?
I could.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to wait until a lot of people die first.
Well, that's what I got to do. I need at least 3 more.
Right.
Okay.
No, but those are, we've had a lot
I know
of
there's like a
fun.
lot of money spent. You know? And you want to tell me, let me tell you about what I spent at the merchandise store, almost as much as I made working 13 hours. 2 T-shirts, 55 and 60 each. She had to have a coffee mug with the big tongue on it, $25.
Jeez.
I got to have a tongue keychain. That was 10. Stupid little keychain, probably won't last long. Made in China. All right. I had to have a program. You ever see a program at the rock concert? They're 4 or 5 pages. This is like 8 pages, $30.
Oh, jeez.
So, but you know what? The Rolling Stones are not coming back to Pittsburgh, and they did put on a big show.
Yeah. Were you talking about Jeff Fisher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guy. Good guy. Yeah.
I cheated. I
Cowher
looked
broke
it
his
up.
leg.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, you can see on video. Oh, Fisher got hammered. Cowher was a little bit wild as a player.
What team did he play for?
Might have been the Giants.
Okay.
I'm not sure. You can, well, since you looked it up, get his
now,
playing career.
now I'm going to have to look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Playing career.
Yeah.
You do that. I'm going to go over to sports, okay? Tomorrow, folks. Tomorrow. What song is that? Here it is. I made 2 copies of it, and I can't. There we go. Tomorrow, Mark Sprigarelli to start things off. Coach Wildlife from West Liberty. And his coaching buddy, except they won't be buddies on Saturday, and that's Coach Bruni from Wheeling University, because Saturday afternoon, the 2 teams will meet at Wheeling, okay? It's not like Pitt, West Virginia, but it's a neighborhood rivalry, and there'll be a lot of Hilltopper fans there, so it ought to be a good time. Make sure you go and see them, okay? It's good football. Coach Young will be with us in hour number 2. Steve Hellwagon, our Buckeye correspondent, will also be there in hour number 2. And then starting hour number 3, we go to Steubenville to the official mayor of Steubenville, Coach Reno. Kyle Wiggs will give us an update on the West Virginia Mountaineers. I've said it for 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row. L is in losses. I don't know how they can win at TCU with TCU's offense, but Kyle will give us a point or 2 on what could happen. 2:35, Bill Hillgrove, the voice of the Pitt Panthers. Why? Because there's talk that Pitt and Penn State could meet in the Peach Bowl on New Year's Day. They could be one of 6 games, okay? Pitt has a big game on national TV Saturday when they host Clemson. And there's also talk about the quarterback who has thrown 21 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, Kenny Pickett. I think he's a Danny Marino clone. Plus, he knows the game. And then the legend will join us with his picks. So there you go. A lot of great guests, a lot of good Q&A coming up. What do you think of that, huh?
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, okay.
You tasked me with something else.
Okay, how'd it go?
He played for the Eagles.
I was a few miles away.
Yeah, and then the Browns, and then the
He
Eagles
played
again.
for the Browns?
Yeah, for 3 years. And then he
Wow.
got traded back to the
What
Eagles.
position?
Linebacker, but mainly special teams, like he said.
Okay, like Cowher.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Cowher played for the Eagles and the Browns.
Yeah.
I thought that's who I was looking up.
Oh, that's Bill Cowher.
Yeah.
Well, look up Jeff.
Jeff Fisher. He played
Jeff
for the
Fisher.
Bears.
The Bears. The
Yes.
Bears. Biff would know something about him.
The Bears.
Well, he probably played before Biff was born, but that's okay.
What was Biff born?
80.
He's probably
Where's
only a
Lois-
couple
Lois
years
gonna
older
be?
than me.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably like mid-'80s, probably.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he stopped playing in 83.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
When Cowher
close to
broke
when
his
Biff
leg.
was -1, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like that happened in 83, I think.
Yeah. But if you check the video, boom, you know.
I'm going to have to look that up now.
What, when Biff was born? Or the video with...
Not the video of when Biff was born, no.
I didn't mean it that way. That came out wrong. Let's rewind there. Okay. Lola, was Biff born about early 80s?
His 30s, something.
Okay, I would have been. Yeah. So sometimes I got to be careful. With Lola, you know, we go way back, you know. We remember watching Elvis Presley on the Ed Sullivan Show when they could only show him from the belly button up because he used to do all of this.
Gyrate.
Yeah. Today, it doesn't matter. You know? Yeah. But yeah, he's a big Bears fan.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And he's a big Notre Dame fan. Oh. And he likes the Orioles. We got losers.
Orioles?
Yeah. He's a big Oriole fan, yeah.
My father-in-law likes the Orioles,
Yeah.
but he's from Maryland.
Well, yeah.
So, and he's the football team fan.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Nothing wrong with that, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes Biff will have his Wheeling Central hat on or Bear shirt on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it all depends. I can't wait to see him tomorrow. Probably big Notre Dame because they're playing Southern Cal, and that's a big rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
Or Wheeling Central. He's a good luck charm, I think. I don't know. In his high school when they won a championship in basketball.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was the ball boy equipment manager, but he was like the sixth man. He still has the net from that game in his car.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's a good luck charm.
He's he's a loyal guy when it comes
Yeah.
to sporting teams.
He comes to all the Nailers games.
Oh,
most
yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell the next day if he went to a Nailers game. Boy, they didn't look good. I was so mad at them. No, but you'll see a lot of them,
Yeah.
DJ Abasella, speaking of a guy that has a lot of jobs, took me for a tour on how they put the ads in the ice.
Oh, you never saw that before?
No, and all those pipes and everything.
Yeah. Oh, you got to see the pipes and everything
yeah.
too? Yeah.
And he told me the other day when I had him on, just one pipe breaks, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't put tape
Well,
around or anything?
They've done things where, luckily, we haven't had this issue. I think maybe we had one get messed up in putting it in, and we just replaced it.
Yeah.
But there's like miles of that piping in there.
Now, the bull riders didn't do any damage, right? Because there's
No.
a floor over it.
Yeah, we
Did you
actually
have to clean up, by the way, after them?
Oh yeah. So when we do the bull riders, we made ice, and then we put our regular floor covering on top of it.
Top of the ice.
Then we put plastic over top of that,
Okay.
and then another floor on top of it.
How many
a plywood
floors you got
floor.
on that ice?
We had two plus
Okay.
the plastic, so we had 3 layers above the ice, and then all the dirt. So it held it well. It stayed clean. We took everything off, and it was clean.
You can't have the monster trucks there, though, can you?
No, the trucks are too heavy.
Yeah. So we'll never see that again.
Well, so this temporary ice floor, we're not sure, how long it's going to be temporary for us. But the hope is soon that we'll be working on construction to put in a permanent floor, which is your typical under
So
the.
this is not permanent?
Yeah, it's the hope anyway. This floor right now sits above the concrete. Eventually, we want to get back to the regular style install, which is you have all that piping underneath the concrete. So then at that point, we'd be able to do monster trucks again.
That's a fun time for kids.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun time for adults too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm like a little kid when I see those.
I love it.
Because, when I was a kid, I used to play with those miniature trucks.
Yeah.
What was the name of the company?
Matchbox or Hot Wheels?
Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
That's when the trucks back then, metal.
Yeah.
Today, they're all plastic.
Yeah.
And
Well,
gotta
you
rub
can
it-
still buy some metal cars, but yeah, it's a lot of plastic.
Yeah.
I used to every time when I was younger, when we'd go to Walmart, I'd ask my parents for a Hot Wheels car, my brother and I, and my parents loved that because they were only $1 a piece back then.
Yeah.
So we go.
They still make them?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I haven't really paid attention to the boys section of toys because I have a daughter, not a boy.
Yeah.
So we don't really play with cars. We're playing with dolls.
Did she have, what was a famous doll?
Barbie?
Yeah. She had Barbie dolls?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's only 2, but she loves playing Barbie.
Yeah. Okay. What was Barbie's boyfriend that they
Ken.
made? Ken.
Yep.
Why do I remember that? I don't know. Ken was popular too, wasn't he?
Still is.
Yeah. I don't know. I got a Bobby Orr doll. I do. I got a Mario Lemieux doll. No, it's a bobblehead.
Yeah.
I got lots of bobble. I got to get rid of all this stuff. Want to do some sports updates from years past? Speaking of Biff, I think he was around in '85. He'd have been 2. He probably, if I ask him, doesn't remember. But the Chicago Bears had this guy called the Refrigerator. You remember him?
Perry?
Yeah.
I don't
1985 on this date, he led the Chicago Bears to a 23-7 win over the Green Bay Packers. Of course, the Bears used to beat up on the Packers until Aaron Rodgers came on the scene. You ready for this, Mr. Malarkey? He weighed in at 325 pounds, which was more than some Frigidaires back in the time. He became a folk hero as he cut a path for Walter Payton's 2 touchdowns. He then exploded over the goal line himself for another score.
I've seen that video plenty of times. Yeah.
Well, he was upset because Walter Payton was upset in the Super Bowl. He never scored a touchdown. But the Refrigerator was given the ball close to the goal line.
Yeah.
Now, why do you want to do that, Mike Ditka? You got a Hall of Fame running back who's dying, itching. He would kill to have the ball and score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Never had that chance. and he kept his mouth shut about it.
I got to see I mean, I don't remember it when it happened, but I've seen the video of what they call that, the Super Bowl shuffle.
Yeah.
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 What was that quarterback's name?
Jim McMahon.
Yeah. He had the sunglasses on and everything.
Yeah. You know the headband that he wore with Roselle on it?
What about it?
He gave me one.
Did he really?
Yeah, during media day.
Oh, wow.
I said I like that headband. He said, "Oh, I got a bunch of them." He pulls one out. I still have it. He went after the commissioner. I mean, he was whatever was on his mind, he spoke. I'm not a Yankee fan, but I got to mention this guy because he was one of the all-time great Yankees. By the way, your hockey coach, Army, he better not get off to a bad start because I'll rip him because he's a Yankee fan.
Okay.
Oh, he loves the Yankees.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was going to bet the mortgage that they would beat the Red Sox that I like in the elimination game. That didn't work. He is a good guy, and I wish him well. Whitey Ford was born on this date in 1928. Baseball Hall of Famer, Mr. Malarkey, with the New York Yankees. Listen to all the the World Series games he played in. 1950, 53, 55, 58, 1960 through 64. Hike. Wow. That's a lot of World Series games. And then he was an all-star pitcher for 5, 6, 7, 8 all-star games. Best pitcher in the American League, Cy Young Award in 64. And he was a pitching coach for the Yankees. Passed away in October 8, 2020. One story I like to tell, I used to shovel manure at the Meadows racetrack for like $1 something an hour. You know what my perk was?
What's that?
Adios weekend. When Mr. Hardy from 84 Lumber would have me visit the special condo they have for guest stars. So I got to meet, not drink or anything with him, but just to hang around. Whitey Ford, Stan Musial, Mickey Mantle, Roger
cool.
Maris. They would all come in as celebrities and sign autographs and stuff.
That is cool.
That was cool. So I'm really a Yankee hater, but I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a long time ago, when we didn't have American League, we only had the Pirates and the National League teams, I would go to Cleveland with my neighbor, who was an Indians fan. And I would go with him, and we would see, the Red Sox and the Chicago White Sox, So I got to see a lot of those players.
This just came to, I just now remember this. When I heard this a couple weeks ago, I actually almost called you to talk about it. But Tunch Ilkin passing away.
Yeah, great.
I remember meeting him once, and I thought he was the nicest guy I've ever met in my life.
He was.
So I want to hear your favorite Tunch story.
Oh, how much time do we have?
Couple minutes here.
When I worked at a country station, 50,000 watts, but I didn't give a darn. We had, Kent DeColvey, Jim Rooker. I started all those guys with a radio show. I said, Tunch, why don't you do a Steeler update every Monday? I don't know if we can pay you. He says, hey, just take care of the family. So I went to the boss, Joe, I don't want to give his last name out. I said, Joe, what can we do for Tunch, like a trade out barter? Does he have kids? Yeah, okay. We'll give him a trip. How many? I said, I think 4. We gave him a trip to Disney. What's the one in Orlando?
Disney World.
Disney World.
Yeah.
Tunch said, oh, yeah, that's great. Airplane, everything. I think he went to Chicago, Cleveland, finally made it to Orlando. I'm not saying that the boss was cheap, but it was a trade out.
Yeah.
Okay, he gets to Orlando, and they put him in a place that was like one of the worst in the world. All right? The air didn't work. There was mold everywhere. His kids went to the swimming pool. There was no water, but a lot of weeds. And who gets the blame? Me.
Yeah.
He always talked about that. And when I knew him as a player, he was very religious and everything. And here's how I had him shut his mouth. Bill, have you seen Jesus? Tunch, I just had coffee with a McDonald's. End of conversation. I don't get into religion. It's personal,
Yeah.
I don't care what ball players say. They thank God and they talk about somebody's mom if they strike, whatever. But Tunch, now when he became a preacher, I went to listen to some of his sermons.
Yeah.
He was
Great
a
guy.
good man.
Yeah.
He raised a lot of money for charity with his walk with Craig Wolfley,
Yeah.
who misses him every minute.
Oh yeah.
They
You
were
can
like
tell.
this,
Oh yeah.
And Tunch was just a great human being. When I heard about ALS, and then Mike Wagner, remember him, defensive back? Make this quick. He has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. ALS is worse. I didn't know that.
It's
And
tough
Tunch
stuff.
just faded away and gone. But as long as I'm alive, his spirit's alive.
Right.
But he was a great man.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't usually use that word for human beings. Great.
Yeah.
You're a great man, too.
I appreciate it.
For what you've been through, you got to be great to go through it.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for the dog update, man.
Yeah.
Keep us up to date on that collie.
Will do.
Did the collie look like Lassie?
No.
Okay, whatever.
I'll show you a picture.
Okay, coming up. Oh, I'm done. I can go home. 70, here I come, traffic or not. I'll be in Claysville quicker than you could say. Claysville's a great place to live.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600, WKKX Wheeling.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Happening now in the House, lawmakers beginning debate ahead of a contempt of Congress vote on former Trump advisor Steve Bannon. Democrat Benny Thompson, chair of the January 6th committee investigating the U.S. Capitol attack, along with co-chair Republican Liz Cheney, say Bannon refused to comply with subpoenas from the Select Committee to testify and urged to hold him accountable for comments on his radio program the day before the insurrection, alluding to violence.
Mr. Bannon's own public statements make clear he knew what was going to happen before it did, and thus he must have been aware of and may well have been involved in the planning of everything that played out on that day.
Republicans call the Select Committee partisan, even though Cheney, along with GOP Congressman Adam Kinzinger, sit on the committee. A ceremony held today in Washington, D.C., celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris spoke, urging passage of a voting rights bill.
We should not have to keep fighting so hard to secure our fundamental rights. But fight we must, and fight we will.
Work is still underway to identify human remains found by teams searching for Gabby Petito's fiancé, Brian Laundrie, in a Florida park.
FBI evidence response team members are still on site documenting the scene where human remains were found. An attorney for Brian Laundrie's parents says Brian's dad found some of the evidence and brought it to police yesterday. Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marcino's teams are helping. He says conditions are tough.
I mean, you're searching in areas that you just can't walk up and look. It's not like you're searching a house.
The attorney for the Laundrie family says the human remains are likely those of Brian Laundrie. Alex Stone, ABC News.
You're listening to ABC News.
Well, I started my own restaurant because I love to cook. But that also means a lot of greasy pots and pans. And we can't waste time with endless sink changeovers. So we upgraded to Dawn Professional Pot and Pan.
Dawn Professional cleans 58% more pots and pans per sink than the leading competitor.
Less dish soap, fewer changeovers, and more time doing what we love.
Dawn Professional. It's clean. Upgraded. From P&G Professional.
Can I get a weight reading on the cat in exam 3?
Zuri needs a new vet tech after their current one literally moved to a farm.
Snap-to-tail checkup is waiting.
But finding an ideal replacement takes some training.
This is like herding cats.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hundreds of prospective jurors could be called for the upcoming trial of the alleged accomplice of Jeffrey Epstein.
As many as 600 prospective jurors could be called when jury selection begins next month in the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, who has pleaded not guilty to charges she facilitated Jeffrey Epstein's abuse of minor girls. The judge said she would question prospective jurors one-on-one about their ability to be fair. The judge said she would also need to ask personal questions, since this case involves sexual abuse and sex trafficking. The defense raised concerns about the chilling effect of doing this in front of reporters, but the judge said she is starting with the presumption of public access. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Book those flights ASAP for Thanksgiving. That's the advice from industry experts, pointing to higher fuel prices and greater demand, warning airline deals are disappearing.
With airlines getting rid of cancellation and change fees,
Booking now, no matter what, may be a good move because even if you're not totally sure about travel right now, you can get the tickets anyway because you can change them later. Those airline policies really are in your favor right now.
ABC News transportation correspondent Gio Benitez. CDC officials warning people to throw away any unlabeled onions. Red, white, or yellow onions imported from Chihuahua, Mexico have been linked to a salmonella outbreak. More than 600 people in 37 states have gotten sick from that outbreak. This is ABC News.
Still looking for that one special voice that makes you fall in love with podcasts? The one is out there and free on Spotify. With over 2 million shows and today's most talked about podcasts, Spotify is the best place to find that one special show that makes you laugh, keeps you interested, and keeps you listening for more. Whatever you're into, get way more into it with a podcast. Find the one you've been listening for right now, free on Spotify.
I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
You know, there's variety shows, and then there's, well, my variety show. I'm Bill DeFabio, and I bring you the best variety talk in the Ohio Valley, quite possibly the world. Join me from noon till 2 to talk sports, nostalgia, and hear from some of the legends of the game. You won't believe who I have on next. The Bill DeFabio Variety Show, noon till 2 on the Watchdog.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm the storm tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Mostly cloudy skies, a few showers and rumbles of thunder, a daytime high near 64. 48 degrees for the overnight low with showers on and off. You'll see the chance for showers for your Friday with cooler temperatures for daytime highs in the mid to upper 50s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
Keep up with the average.
This is Metro News Ram Hotline, a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304 or by calling 1-800-765-8255. That's 1-800-765-TALK. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
Well, hello, West Virginia. We are back for more in the 304. Time to get it done in the 681. Time to start our 3-hour audio tour for Thursday, October 21st, Metro News Hotline. Don't forget about our podcast. You can check out our program at a time that's right for you, which is basically any time, actually. Just simply go to wvmetronews.com, click on the podcast link, select Hotline, and you are there. You can listen to any or all of our 3 hours every weekday afternoon. We'll have a look at all of today's biggest headlines from the state of West Virginia in the News Roundup, checking in on all of the top stories from around our state. In just a moment, it's been another busy news day here in the old WV, and we'll get to the bottom of all that in just a minute. Here's a couple of things you need to know about our program. We don't take ourselves all that seriously. What you're normally going to get here is sports, popular culture, and music, and that's we're going to try to check all those boxes today. If you got something on your mind you need to tell us about, text us, 304-825-304. Talk 304, or just tweet me at Weekly, W-E-E-K-L-E-Y, one word, 3 E's. I'm always watching that stuff, W-E-E-K-L-E-Y. Our program's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We'll take you through the afternoon here in the Mountain State right up until 6 o'clock. And as it relates to West Virginia over the course of our show, we'll keep you up to date on everything you need to know when it comes to local news, local sports, the weather, even some traffic tips to get you home safe. So, our show's 3 hours long.